Just dropped in the morning show here on the SDH Network. John, hear you there. Thanks for dropping by. And we know over the next 26 hours, at least from a broadcast perspective, it might be a little challenging. And so today, it literally will be as best as we can. And hopefully we can get through the show this morning without getting any kind of power knocked off or anything like that. Tomorrow, if we have power, we'll be on the air at 9:05 Eastern time. That's the best way that I can describe it. And I know that a lot of you are going to be fighting the same battles that we are. And obviously, we want you to be as safe as humanly possible. And we, just kind of keep us posted on what's going on in your part of the world. And we will keep all of everybody posted at what's going on with Helene, because she's going to be nasty. She's already been nasty. And traditionally, as you well know, for those of you that have been a part of the network for a while, morning, Alex, that most of my time, because of live shots and network things and folks doing games and Jason doing games and Jarrett and Nick and Maddie doing games all around the Southeast, I've got one eye to the Weather Channel. And I've got really two eyes to the Weather Channel and doing a show this morning. So off to my left, traditionally, is the Big 55, and it is doing its thing. And so right now, obviously, we're keeping an eye out with everything in Southwest Georgia for starters, but obviously the entire Southeast with Helene. So just keep us posted on how you're doing. Let us know what's going on. And so today should be fairly normal. With Power Hour being in hour number 2, it'll be Nino and Niko in hour number 2, getting you ready for what happened last night in Sudamericana, Libertadores. We'll go over what's going on in Portugal and in South America. And then Niko comes on at 10:30, the last half hour. We'll have our handoff. I don't know what the question is going to be. Traditionally, I'm just like, all right, what's the question, Nino for Niko? And then they go. What I may do is I may just ask Niko about what he thinks about Sudamericana and Libertadores, and then they can have their coming together, and then we go the other way. So that's the show today. News of the morning. Playoffs from last night, championships decided last night. We'll go over all of that. We've got news of the morning to get you through. And it is kind of a newsy Thursday, by the way, especially with news overseas to kind of get us into what's going on. And then hour number 2 is the Power Hour with Nino and Niko. Tomorrow, like I said, if we have power, we're doing a show. And we'll get you ready for the weekend. We can whip around patent pending, trademark coming sooner, hopefully, rather than later. If I'm not mistaken, our mogul in training, Michael Parkhurst, is going to be getting a visit from the higher-ups if he's going to burn for the weekend. Rhode Island FC is going to be getting a visit from the higher-ups in the hierarchy of USL Championships, so they can show off how the stadium is being constructed and what's going on at Burn Stadium, all that kind of stuff, as they're fighting after a playoff spot. If we get our friends from Beyond Goals, that's at 9:30. 10 o'clock, we can whip around. We can whip around might be earlier. The other element in all of this is that Atlanta United's got a game against Red Bulls this weekend. And so, Philly. Sorry, my bad. I'm a weekend behind myself. Philly. So, team's got to get out of town. Orlando City B, Orlando, you got to keep an eye on what's going on with Orlando. You got to keep an eye on what's going on with Messi and friends. You got to keep an eye on what's going on with Atlanta United. Atlanta United is trying to get to Philly. The Twos are trying to get to Philly. They have the games on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday themselves should be okay from a weather perspective, but traditionally you want to try to get out of town a day ahead of time, and you're looking at so we'll see what happens. Morning Pars and your continued early support of your friends at Aston Villa and your boy Emi Martinez. So that's where we are. That's the broadcast plan for today and tomorrow. Like I said, today should be fairly normal. By the way, the back porch is already flooded. We live in a hillside. And so, of course, we're at the bottom of the hill. And folks to our left and our right, two to our left, two to our right, we're all at the bottom of a hill. So water's coming downhill. And so our back porch is already flooded. Back porch, back patio, whatever it is. Enclosed encampment at the back of the house. It's already flooded. And I asked the boss, I said, should I go ahead and sweep the water out if I can? And she's like, well, I don't know, because it's all going to come back anyway. So we'll see what happens there with our back porch. Tried to batten down some hatches last night, pulled some things off of the front patio and the back patio, and tilted some tables over, brought in a bunch of candles, stuff that's floating around traditionally that's just hanging on ledges and things, brought that inside. And so that's where our preparations have been, anticipating what it's going to be like overnight tonight and tomorrow. So we'll see. We'll see how well we have prepared, and hopefully that everyone here that's a part of our family here at SDH, that you guys get through it as unscathed as possible going forward. By the way, did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Hey, did you know we're up for an award? We are. I don't know if you knew this. And it literally is one of these things is not like the other situation. The Football Content Awards. And like I said, I'm going to be bordering obnoxious about this until October 11th, I think, because I think that's the Friday. But Football Content Awards, we are up for broadcaster rights holder. We are up for those. And get this. It's just the wildest. It literally is just the wildest thing that we are up against all of these folks that are who they are, all of these heavyweights and all of these powers that are out there, and it's all of them and us for broadcast rights holder. But 50% of the vote is the audience part, the ballot box stuffing. 50% is the judges. Judges include like Peter Drury this year. So vote. You go to footballcontentawards.com/voting. You go in, they have all of the awards that you can vote on in this one long sheet. It's a click down menu, and you sit there and you vote for whomever. The broadcast rights holder category is us. And so we're going up against, it is so surreal. Every time I click on this to just read this list. So I'm going to read the list. Oh, boy. All right. So the finalists in our category: best media organization, broadcast rights holder. Prime, BBC, Golazo Network, DAZN, ESPN FC, ITV, Sky, Talk Sports, TNT Sports, which used to be BT Sports overseas, and something called the SDH Network. Those 10, those 9, and us, each playing a pivotal role in delivering football content to millions of fans across the globe. One of the finalists. Holy crap. So, yeah, that broke Monday afternoon. And so the voting coefficient for fandom, 50% of the vote. Get out your slingshots and your stones, folks. So go to footballcontentawards.com/voting. And they had a very humbling write-up of us, too, by the way. Based in Atlanta, Georgia, the SDH Network offers a unique mix of football content, including live broadcast, talk shows, and in-depth interviews. Specializing in all levels of the sport from professional to high school, SDH has expanded its offerings with the launch of SDH2. This is true. A new platform for live event distribution. The network's commitment to covering all aspects of football, combined with its growing audience, makes it a standout content provider in the U.S. market. That's damn humbling. But, yeah, best media organization, broadcaster rights holder. That's us. We're one of the 10. And you know, and seriously, I'm going to have to answer back with these folks. But, yeah, I love the fact that they're – so are you going to the meta meeting the day of the awards before we go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? And I get to email the guy back and sit there and say, well, we're still trying to finalize our travel plans, which is true. I'm hoping that after the popular vote is in, that they will announce like finalists. And then if we, through the grace of whomever, end up as a finalists, then probably odds are that the boss and I are leaving and heading over to be there for the awards. We'll do the show from London all week long, except for Friday morning, so I can come back and be here for Football Fridays for high school football. The plan is leave after the week before. Leave that Saturday morning after the game. I think it's the 16th. Then be in London all week. Then be there for the awards on Thursday night. It's literally the week before Thanksgiving, Thursday before Thanksgiving. Then fly back Friday morning, or take a Friday morning flight from London, come back, gain 6 hours, 6-hour or 8-hour flight or whatever, and I should be okay getting to the venue for the broadcast just to make an appearance, and then probably collapse, and we'll see what happens. But that's my incredibly selfish pie in the sky plan if we don't end up being a finalist. But spread the word. footballcontentawards.com/voting. Media rights holder organization. Best media organization. Holy crap. So very, very humbling across the board. Pars voted yesterday. So that's what you're staring at. So thank you, Pars. Stuff the ballot box as best you can. Go to a different IP address, maybe something at work or something, and have others vote. I have to post this in the Discord, by the way. I've got to remember to do that. So footballcontentawards.com/voting, and you can vote for SDH as your best organization. Discussing what's going on with travel. Michael's like 3.11 inches. Now, Michael, was that in your backyard yesterday? Because Michael's a 3-iron from Office HD. Michael, well, I mean, is he a 3-iron? Might be a little less. Might be more like a 5 on a good day. Michael's probably a 5-iron on a good day from Office HD. So is that in your backyard, Michael, the 3.11 inches? Interesting. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what Helene dumps on us, because she keeps sliding and she keeps moving to the west. So if we're on the eastern side, okay, so Michael got 3.11 inches at the Casa de Michael and Cherry. So 3.11 inches to Michael here in Office HD country. So that's what we got yesterday, and it all ended up on our back porch patio. And so looking to see what else happens today as the day gets on. It's supposed to get nastier, but yeah, we will have a show. We will have a show if we have power tomorrow. We just hope that everybody is safe, and let us know how things are going with all of you. And Pars, you're not wrong. They might take Uncle Arthur's jet to leave when they want. Might end up driving. I don't know. But that's the other thing. You've got all these teams with MLS matches, with dealing with Helene here in the Southeast. Messi and friends, and Orlando City, OCB, Atlanta United 2, all the things, all of these travel elements that you've got to kind of keep an eye on. And so it's Miami and Charlotte. And so how does that get handled? I mean, you might wait until tomorrow if you're Charlotte, if you're going down to the Erector set. So, I mean, if tomorrow works and you kind of swing way wide and you work your way down, Helene's coming one way, you go around or the other. Nashville's on the road at New England, so I think they can escape what's going on. Atlanta heading to Philly, that's the big one, at least here in the footprint. How are they getting out of town? And then everything else seems to be fairly safe. But yeah, we'll catch up with our buddy Niko Moreno in hour number 2 and kind of go preview as to what's going on involving everything in Major League Soccer. Get you ready, play a little cliffhanger, and spot it all out for you and sit there and go, okay, so here's the weekend, and it gives you an early preview of what's going on in and around the league. And like I said, our buddy Nino Torres from Gold TV is going to be joining us at 10 o'clock. He has already sent his rundown, and it's not really a surprise that the rundown is as big as it is. Like I said, Libertadores, Sudamericana, and what else did Nino have on his mind? He says, is Victor Gyökeres the best striker in the world right now? He has the numbers to back it up. The beautiful story of the 83-year-old Sporting fan saved from a fire and historical championship controversy. Oh, we have controversy. I feel like I need Andre Simone and Prince between the two Peruvian giants, Universitario and Alianza Lima. So when Nino joins us at 10, it's going to be a stacked half hour. But no, there we go. footballcontentawards.com/voting. And you can vote for anything and everything. Us, please, stuff the ballot box. Like I said, get out your slingshot and your stone, people. Time to help us out there. I guess that was opening kickoff. Wandering Aimlessly was opening kickoff. Brought to us by our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. There's your QR code for those of you who are watching. However you are accessing us this morning, large device or small. There we go. And you hit that QR code, you start your day, you kick off your day with our friends from Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Don't forget, use the code SoccerDownHere15 to get 15% off your purchase. They, in turn, take 10%, reinvest it in youth games, youth initiatives. Very, very cool stuff from our friends at Kickoff Coffee and kickoffcoffeeco.com. Okay, so there were a couple of things that were decided last night, and it did have its fair amount of chaos. Columbus and Club America were at the Death Star last night, Campeones Cup final, and it goes to Club America, who won 5-4 in PKs. So Columbus Crew getting right to the edge. A goal by Victor Davila in the 68th minute gave Club America the first lead of the match. Not early, 68th minute. So about 20 to go. And then Malte Amundsen with 13 to go ties it at 1. They go to PKs, 5-4 your final. And that was how it ended up. So Club America get the 2024 Campeones Cup win over Crew. And so once again, Crew shows very, very well for Major League Soccer and what we've been able to have in these tournaments. But Campeones Cup goes to Club America last night. That was the first championship on the board. Then the Can Champ happened last night. And it was at BC Place, and it was one of the smaller crowds, sadly, that has been going on in recent tournaments. Goalless after 90 minutes. They would go to PKs, and Vancouver would win it in PKs 4-2. Here is your deciding moment, brought to us by our friends at One Soccer. And it sounds like it's our buddy, friend of the network, Gareth Wheeler, on the call here. Your deciding moment in PKs to give Vancouver Whitecaps the championship.
And his first Canadian championship can win the Voyageurs Cup for the Vancouver Whitecaps. Utvig scores! It's 3! Vancouver Whitecaps successfully defend their Canadian championship reign! Time in 3 seasons that the Vancouver Whitecaps defeat Toronto FC on penalties. And Jimmy Brennan, they will once again be lifting the Voyageurs Cup. They are your 2024 TELUS Canadian champions. The party begins. It's full time and it will last long into the night. It's 3 in a row for the Whitecaps.
There you go. And Bjorn Inge Utvik was the individual that got the final kick in the Can Champs for Vanni Sartini and the Whitecaps to get it over the bar. And if you watched it, or if you found a way to watch the highlights, you saw that Bjorn Inge Utvik actually was wearing the soft helmet to help out with any kind of contact with concussions or any integration with concussions, contact head-to-head, anything like that. So Bjorn Inge Utvik got the final, that got the clincher last night for the Can Champ, and Jarrett joins us now. Jarrett, just going over what happened yesterday, where we had Campeones Cup decided, and it was Club America at the Death Star beating Columbus Crew, and Vanni Sartini, who we maintain must be protected at all costs, getting the Can Champ at home over Toronto FC. So we had 2 champions determined yesterday, and we had a third late night. I don't know if it was Open Cup after dark, but it was certainly going for a while. I did not stay up later and late for Open Cup. I know that. Have you officially made it back home?
Yeah, no, we made it back home. Made it back home late last night. It was like 10 hours to get out of Florida around whatever the hell is coming. Only to arrive to another weather system in Atlanta. That was fun. Yeah, I tried to stay up. I got through like 45 minutes of LA and Kansas City. Yeah. I was a little bit, and like Bam was losing his mind, and I'm happy for Bam.
Yes.
Part of me was tickled at the idea, though, of LAFC continuing to lose finals.
Yeah.
But, hey, you know what? The secret is get LAFC into extra time, and they'll take care of business.
Yeah.
Columbus, look, beating Club America in the Campeones Cup isn't for everyone. It's okay. Judges you. This is a safe place for your judgments, but it's not for everybody. Sometimes you need a Jeff Lorenowitz moment. It didn't have one. The most fun moment was Cucho hitting it outside of the foot Travallo that was just beautiful. That led to nothing. The Travallo just disappeared.
It was still beautiful, though.
It was beautiful. It was saved. Which is the kind of thing that, like, here's the disconnect for me. Because if that gets posted here, all I see is social media accounts losing their shit about, well, it didn't result in anything. Whereas Cucho can do it, and everybody's falling over themselves like it's Mr. Magoo. And you should fall over, but they are correct. And the same thing should be done here. Look, if we post somebody has an amazing pass that doesn't pay off, sometimes it's not going to pay off. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you get beat.
Yes.
And Rossi got beat by the goalkeeper in the moment. Then we had the entire conversation once again about goalkeepers coming off the line early. Ball hits the crossbar and the penalties. I get you're trying everything you can to angle this towards MLS digital people. Crossbar. Also, if we're going to keep slanting this further and further towards the guys taking the kick, Alex, it was a lot of fun. Columbus is just fun. Once again, I am waiting for someone from Europe to come a calling for Nancy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know when that happens. I don't know if he takes it. I don't know Nancy's mental, where he is mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, is he the kind of guy who's like, you know what, I got a great thing here in Columbus, and I'm just gonna like be the biggest fish in this particular sea, or does he want more? Yeah. I don't know. Someone's gonna throw FU money at him eventually.
Yeah.
Whether he takes it or not is an entirely different conversation.
Yeah.
And Guard's thing, if the goalkeeper doesn't affect the result of a PK went off their line, the result still stands. I still have my beef with the way, because we saw this happen, not this exact thing, we saw what I'm about to describe happen in an MLS Next Pro game, where a taker runs up, hesitates super hard, basically comes to a stop. Jaden Hibbert comes off his line, anticipating the kick. The guy hesitates. Hibbert has taken that step where he had timed it in a way that had the guy actually kicked it, Hibbert's foot would have still been on the line, and he was using that foot to drive. But because he hesitates, Hibbert comes off the line a step early, gets the save, but it's called back because he was technically off the line. And I don't know how we expect goalkeepers to make saves in those situations with those rules. And if we're going to say now, if Weeby and Doyle and everybody are going to, or I think Weeby was leading the charge. I think Doyle just pointed out the rule book.
Of course.
Apologies.
It wasn't TT part of it too?
He was. I think Twelman was part of it as well. But like, if we're going to lead the charge of, wow, he was off his line when he hit the crossbar, so he should get to take it again. How hard are you going to slant this in the favor of the taker versus the guy saving the penalty? Because it feels like we're pushing this the same way we've pushed pass interference and illegal contact in American football, where we've created such an offensive advantage in the game.
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you just not have keepers in there?
Yeah.
Are you going to also say the keeper has to keep both feet on the line until there's contact? The keeper has to stand perfectly still, and he can't make any loud noises. He has to whisper like he's Elmer Fudd in the woods.
Or it's like the movie with what's her face, the wife of John Krasinski, A Quiet Place.
Oh yeah,
Emily Blunt. Emily Blunt. Thank you. You've got to turn being between the sticks into A Quiet Place, and you can't do anything to exacerbate it. Or you take the keeper out entirely and you just expose the four corners like you do when you're trying to have somebody win a new car. And you have the hole there, and
why don't we just settle all the games by goalie wars?
There you go. I like that.
Just settle it by goalie wars. But yeah, if we're gonna say that he came off his line early and the guy hit the crossbar, Maybe he just hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just hit the crossbar. Like the guy went the other direction anyway.
Mm-hmm. That is true. By the way,
Yeah, it'd have been cool to see MLS win another trophy.
yeah.
That was a fun game anyway.
Yes.
But you don't have to like keep bending, like not bending, but changing the rules further and further and further.
Altering, yeah.
Yeah, to favor everything towards the guy at the spot.
Yep.
In part, PKs are absolutely not fair to goalkeepers at all, especially in PK shootouts.
Yeah.
Keepers are able to break all the yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, you want to add an entirely new rule, MLS media folks? Like, y'all want to add an entire new rule to make it even more so? Honestly, we're to the point now. If a goalkeeper makes a save in a shootout, he should get up and just basically do a full Divo Martinez. He should get to like air hump whatever he wants. If he wants to DX cross chop you, he should be able to. Someone should walk up if he makes a save on you. Someone should walk up behind you with a little mini basketball rim, and the goalkeeper runs up and dunks a Nerf basketball on your head. Because unless they have gone full Jean Grey or Professor Charles Xavier, it's so damn hard for anyone to make a save in these anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be in someone's skull. Tim Melia, who is 108 years old in soccer years,
correct,
or like Thibaut Courtois, and be like 6'45".
Yes. That is absolutely true, because when you're 6'45", that does absolutely help you out in these situations.
Yes.
Bart's going to join us tomorrow morning in the 9 o'clock hour, by the way, power permitting, to discuss all of these things. And Bart, because Bart DMs me and he says, "Yes, there were a couple of reffing down here moments yesterday or last night to get into," and I'm like, "Cool,
Let's do it tomorrow then."
Yeah, so we're going to do it tomorrow, power permitting, in the 9 o'clock hour. So if any
turnover chain for the goalkeepers. Yes.
See, now that a PK save chain, that's what we need.
It does further enforce the idea of if you're in a shootout, and this was like where I was like losing my faith in my own insanity in the Leagues Cup.
Yeah.
When Atlanta, like, two of the three shootouts Atlanta's been in Leagues Cup, Brad Guzan has either made a save, or Josh Cohen has made a save, or a shot has been missed.
Yeah.
In the way shootouts are done nowadays, if somebody makes a save, you gotta win.
Oh, absolutely.
It's slanted so hard towards the taker. And I understand some teams don't practice PKs for whatever reason. It's kind of like, for me, like, practice your free throws.
Yeah.
I realize that there's no one blocking your free throw, but like, and it's kind of hard to replicate the tension of the moment, but like, practice knowing where you're going to go with the ball. When someone makes a save, you got to win it. Or if someone, puts one up into space that might actually knock Michael Bradley's 2018 CONCACAF Champions Cup final penalty into a decaying orbit.
Yeah, we had that last night in the Botafogo match. We'll talk to Nino about that in an hour or two.
That one didn't quite reach Michael Bradley's, which, if Mir were still up there, would have put Mir in the ocean.
Skylab.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Yeah. And so
if a player misses a penalty counts as goalkeeper save, yeah, that's a psychological win, because all good goalkeepers are actually psychological terrorists and should be treated as such. And I mean that in the most complimentary fashion I possibly can.
Absolutely. So
it doesn't matter if I went the wrong. Same rule applies to like in football, where quarterback throws a fade, he underthrows it. The quarterback is beat by 5 yards, but he's underthrown it so much the corner can knock it down. He's absolutely standing up and declaring a no-fly zone.
Absolutely.
If I dive the wrong way at a penalty and you shank it into row H and hit little Timmy upside the head, hey, I'm going to let you know about it. Because guess what? I don't care how that big X appeared on the box of 5, there's an X there. They don't ask how, they ask how many.
Exactly. And so, next time Jess is on, we've got to ask her about this kind of stuff, about how she approached PKs and how she counsels her young charges about PKs. And we also have to ask about Reading. They're back into their ish ton of problems because another ownership thought has fallen through. But yeah, next time Jess is on, we need to ask her about all these GK things about penalty kicks and saves and things like that and mentality for keepers. I want to get into that with Jess next time she's on. But yeah, Bart will be on 9 o'clock hour, and we'll just go ahead and bat leadoff with him. We'll go until 9:30 with Bart. So we'll do reffing down here from leadoff to 9:30 if our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring can join us. And then if they are traversing the planet or are stuck and without power, then we'll keep going. So Bart's going to bat leadoff tomorrow discussing reffing down here and all those kinds of things. But yes, and to recap on the audio side, Bart is saying if the keeper doesn't affect the result of the PK when off their line, the result still stands. And a note on Patrick Schulte, by the way. For as much as folks prefer other young goalkeepers for the men's national team, Schulte has now played in 4 cup finals in 2 years. I would say that would give him a bit of an inside track when it comes to exposure and experience in dealing with hostile crowds and teams from other leagues here hemispherically. So
they've done such a good job in Columbus. Obviously, across the board on a lot of things, but you went from Patrick Steffen, who's an amazing shot stopper. He's an amazing shot. That's about where it begins.
Zach Steffen. You're thinking Thrashers when you said Patrick.
Sorry, Patrick Steffen. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. I didn't sleep much. A lot of driving. A lot of not sleeping. A lot of negotiating with a small hostile 7-year-old terrorist. Zach Steffen is a great shot stopper and a great shot stopper, and that's about where it ends for Zach Steffen.
Don't ask him to do
what he does. Yeah, I am asking him to do about as much with his feet as I'm asking myself to do with my feet, which is not really anything.
Correct.
But then you went to Eloy Room, who was really good for a while, and then you went to Schulte. You had the plan laid out.
Mm-hmm.
They've done really well in that respect, man. And I think if you're Atlanta, you were kind of side-eyeing Jaden Hibbert in a similar vein. Of I don't know how quickly Jaden Hibbert gets there. I think Jaden Hibbert made some absolute leaps this year.
Mm-hmm.
Also, is Brad 40 now, or is he 39?
Oh,
the old Battle Axe goalkeeper was in Team of the Week. You got some decisions to make. He's got some decisions to make if he wants to go be a family man or wants to keep playing.
No, Brad's a man. He's 40.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're in a situation where I don't know if it's a year or two from now, but I think Jaden Hibbert can be that guy sooner rather than later. I was excited about his potential. I think he's shown that he is. But he's shown. I think he's better than I expected him to be at year one as a pro. Right. But you always want that. You thought you had that when you had Vicente Reyes and
Justin Garces,
and Justin Garces, because everybody wants that succession line that Columbus has absolutely nailed.
Yeah,
and I'm sure they have another one in the wings.
Oh,
or they'll go find one.
No, they've got Stas Lapkus for Crew 2. They absolutely do.
Yeah, they got another one. They're fine. The chamber is reloaded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Stas Lapkus, I think, was a part of Goalie Wars this year. He's been one of the stout keepers for Crew 2 this season. And if I had enough time to go chasing after my notes, I would. MLS Next Pro. Let me see if we have anything resembling statistics involving folks with MLS.
My favorite thing still is that Brad. Thanks, Roper's got that. Brad turns 40 this month. I love sports because we can look at a guy and go, he's 40 years old. He shouldn't even be alive anymore. How is he playing? Yes. Methuselah out here kicking a ball around while his bones turn to dust, whereas the rest of us are staring straight in the face of 40, being like, you know what? I'm not that old.
It's
going to be okay.
Yeah. Stas Lapkus, 17 matches this season starting for Crew 2. and it is a see, I hate these because his passing percentage, he's down all the way down at the bottom of the page. Passing percentage at 84.5% this year out of the blocks. Inside is 18. And so Lapkus has been, Lapkus has been the lead guy for Crew 2 this season, and Crew 2 right now in the Eastern Conference. They're fighting it. I mean, right now they're sixth, but they're in that street fight for sixth. 26 matches played, 2 to go, 42 points. So they can make a run for something as high as 3. And they're a part of that street fight in MLS Next Pro from 5 to 10 that is separated by 2 points. 6 teams, 2 points to get in, stay in.
Must be nice.
Doing. Yeah, I know.
I'm still salty, and Atlanta's got to figure out, the twos have got to figure out a way to hit out of the blocks the way they hit late in the year.
Yeah,
because it's second year in a row where you started out. Actually, you did this last year too. Like, I think it was like the second game. You pummeled somebody, and you're like, "Oh, okay, you got something here." And then you just kind of wander through the dark through half the season. You start to find yourself and get consistency in the late part of the season, but it isn't there long enough, so you're having to chase low odds, and you got to find a way to carry that through the whole season. Because we saw when it was working that it was really fun, and when guys were consistent, it was really fun. It's just it's a tricky thing to navigate, man.
Well, and the other point, and I'm sure that we will get into this with Steve in our last conversation with him as we get ready for the matchup against Union 2 on Sunday. So that means that power permitting, it's going to be tomorrow with Steve. One of the
weather is shifting east.
Yeah. So we might get punched right in the face. The team had 2 3-week breaks.
Yeah, I know. I would like to punch people in the nose at MLS Next Pro over this, metaphorically speaking, literally. Not trying to get assault charges. But you handed a team 2 3-week breaks. You restructured their entire schedule to hand them 3-week breaks, and then in turn handed them a bunch of congestion instead of a normal, easy, hey, play once a week schedule. Mm-hmm. I just have no clue what the hell the schedule makers were doing. You take enough drugs, though, and you stare in the mirror, maybe you turn into an elephant. I don't know.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, what the hell were you thinking?
Well, and that's the larger point is what the hell were you thinking? And, you end up with a team when they were in rhythm that was doing very, very well. I mean,
they're pulling results. And if it hinges on, well, we had to change the schedule because so and so was in Open Cup, then just go back to the way you did Open Cup before and put the MLS teams in there. Yes, I know there's issues with other leagues not doing enough to prop up Open Cup financially. It's a little tricky for them, and I know there's layers to this, but if you're going to have those questions of MLS Next Pro teams and Open Cup, we had to change the schedule around, then figure out a way to put the teams in it in the first place so you're not building a schedule that you're going to have to deconstruct and screw with everybody's calendars for. Because I hate to break it to y'all, did you know it's not cheap to fly and drive everywhere? We don't have public transit. Thanks again, Henry Ford. Find your grave and piss on it later. We don't have good public transit around this country. This isn't England. I can't hop on the 504 train and get up to Charlotte. I don't have a mag train that can take me somewhere. We have to load up the bus, get down to the airport, meet all the people who are going to heaven or hell, and catching a connecting flight there from purgatory in the first place, and then fly somewhere to play a game.
Well, just ask, what was it, William Hurt in the movie in the movie in the 90s where he said, when you die, you connect planes in Atlanta. That's literally how it's all structured. And I mean, it is.
I was always told when you die, whether you go to heaven or hell, you got to catch the flight out of Atlanta. And thank you to Alex for sharing this from Charlie Bowen. Kai Kamara on USOC Legacy. Don Garber was here. I saw him. He was on the podium. He gave me a medal. So just get him in here and make sure they don't take MLS away from this. This is amazing. This is American soccer right here. Don't take away our history. Yes, and I get, man. Look, there's layers to this conversation because what you have is you, as far as MLS is concerned, you don't want to be the only ones propping this thing up financially.
Right.
You need help from U.S. Soccer to actually support this tournament. Lower level leagues can only do so much in terms of throwing money into it because they only have so much money to throw into it. Especially when you get into USL teams, just because look, USL is insanely expensive to be a part of. Yeah. First of all, the laundry list of teams longer than my leg that have tried to go to USL and just crashed out because it's expensive. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's financial stuff you got to U.S. Soccer needs to clean up and MLS needs to clean up with them. Ripping MLS out of this ain't the answer. Also, one of the things was watching this game last night was once again incredibly pissed off that Atlanta loses that game to Indy 11. Because Indy 11 went and played SKC.
Yeah.
And lost. SKC was in that final last night. You were 2 steps away from a final. And you didn't get there because you lost at home to a USL team. I'm sorry, I'm angry all over again about it. It was unacceptable, man. I get you were balancing guys because the schedule was chaotic at the time.
Yeah.
But Jesus. And the worst part of that whole thing was once again, Dax's US Open career ends on a really ugly own goal where he's just trying to make a play. It sucked for Dax.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, MLS, US Soccer, I need you to sit down at the table, bring the other leagues into this. Everyone grab a seat at the table. Don't worry about this giant key and padlock are for. Mind your own damn business. I'm just going to lock the door from the outside. Look, there's snacks on the table. There's some bottled water. I even put some sparkling water for the bougie among you. Figure your shit out together.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Just get it all squared away and get your ish together.
Bart, I would also accept Motel 6 and Tom Bodette presenting the trophy.
Oh, see, I mean, we fixed the MLS All-Star game. Do we need to fix Open Cup now too?
I mean, possibly. I mean, there's like I said, there's some of the things. Don Garber is really, really good at putting his foot in his mouth. Even when he has a salient point, even when he is on a side that I agree with. Open Cup is not perfect. MLS does a lot of financial heavy lifting with Open Cup. I get it.
Yep.
Even when he's on a side I agree with, I still feel like Don Garber likes to insert foot into mouth a lot. And man, you don't have to play tough guy with this. You don't have to play the aggressive, we're the good guys angle. It's okay, boss.
We get it. All right, so it took me a while, and I couldn't find it in an organized form without the dates being blotted out, so I finally got it. Nino Torres is joining us in 10 minutes. Okay, so you play 2 matches. You're 1-1. You beat Core 1-0. Then you get a 3-week break. In that, after that 3-week break, out of the blocks, you lose 3 of 4. And the first 2 matches after that 3-week break, you get outscored 9-1. It was also to the top 2 teams in the Eastern Conference now, Union and Cincinnati. Then you play all the way through, and then you get a little bit of rhythm in your play, and then you stop May 31st. Then you come back June 26th. May 31st to June 26th. Gap. You come back June 26th. Then you end up with 2 matches in a week, and you end up with 5 of 6 on the road. This is Atlanta United 2 schedule. You start with 6 of your first 7 at home. 3,
Yep.
6.
And let's be blunt about it.
7 of your
They
first
didn't
eight.
win enough of those.
No.
They did not win enough of those games.
Yeah, 7 of your
That
first.
is why you're in it. Look, first team is in a very similar situation. Look, first team is not out of the playoffs. They're in a gaggle of teams where they need to win games.
Mm-hmm.
You know why you're in a gaggle of teams that need to win games? Because you lost like 5 or 6 straight at home that you shouldn't have lost. To teams you shouldn't have lost to. Now, granted, 2 of those losses I can look directly at Pro and slap them upside the face for. The LAFC game was a joke.
Yep.
And the Charlotte game turns on one of the most unacceptable VAR overturns that I've ever seen. Charlotte was dead in the water in that game, and Pro handed them a goal and a lifeline back into that game. You shouldn't have lost to Minnesota in that span. You should have beat Philadelphia. Like you dropped games that you can't drop, and the Twos did that too. They dropped home games that they can't drop.
Right. It was 6 of 7 at home to start. Then you had 7 of 9 on the road. You get off to the start where you lose 3 of your first 4 at home, but then you end up with schedule compression, and you lose of those 3 of the 7 of 8 that you started at home. You only won 2, so you could have made hay while the sun shined, and you only won 2. You didn't. Yeah, you win 2 of your first 8. Then you go on the road for 7 of 9. And you win 2 of those. You win them, both of them against Hunt City, where it's the beginning and the end. But you end up in, as a part of that, after match 3 in this 7 of 9 on the road, you end up with a 3-week. Well, actually, it's almost a full month break, because May 31st to June 26th, you do not play at all, which is just unconscionable to me, looking at how you make this schedule and put it together. Then when you get into a rhythm after that second break, you have the run where you win 3 in a row and you're unbeaten in 4. And then you're finding your way through this. You have the draw with Crew 2 at home. You lose at Matthews 2-1. You win 3 in a row. You draw at the Erector set against the Baby Herons. And then you end up with the streak where you're playing OCB at home. And you're at Core and that Core game was goofy, because that was the one where Efra got the red card. It was 2-1 at the time. Efra got the red, and then you're chasing, and so the scoreline I don't think indicated really the play for the Twos there in the game against Core. Then you had the crazy game in Chattanooga. Then you had the draw that you salvaged late with an Efra header, and then the game against Hunt City, which was all over the place, and so. That's where you were. So after that second break, Atlanta United 2 comes, and they got a handle on things. But when you have 2 3-week breaks, 2 3-week breaks.
Yes. 2 3-week breaks.
I mean,
the thing about both of the clubs this year, and one of the reasons I got disappointed by their failings to get into the playoffs is, despite, especially with the first team, despite any doom and gloom, this is not a rant to dump on them or say that everything sucks or to doom and gloom it, because what's frustrating is the inconsistency, because both teams showed you that they can be good, but they didn't show that consistency, and those disappointing performances would not be as disappointing if I did not feel like they can be better. Like, the talent is better, the players are better, the collective can be better than what they showed. Because, man, we got some games where the Twos were just not on the step. Yeah. Maddie and I had a number of times we went down in that locker room, or not the locker room, excuse me, in the media room.
Yeah.
And Steve had come in after just reading the absolute riot act to them. We watched the first team sleepwalk through this unacceptable game with Nashville 2 weeks ago. Both teams had those games where, like, you just, for whatever reason, guys weren't up for it. And to Rob's point, Gonzo's point when he was here, look, coach cannot go out there and do it for you.
Nope.
Which is one of the things we stressed with Gonzo when he was here. Like, he can't go out there and do it for him. And moving on from him, getting him out of here wasn't going to fix everything.
Right.
Clearly did not fix everything. And guys got to look in the mirror because they're better than that. And it's those disappointing performances, not to sit here and say that everything sucks and everyone sucks and we should burn everything down.
Yeah.
Because they are better than that. And that's what always gave me more gray hairs is the fact that they are better than that. They were better than that. They showed better than that. And they did not consistently deliver better than that. That's on them to figure out.
Yep.
Like I said, the coaches, Rob, Gonzo, Steve Cook, cannot go out there and do it for them. They cannot be behind them with whips and with fire 24/7.
And Michael says the way to fix the MLS All-Star game is to end it. It's almost like the end of war games for Michael. Sometimes
I would actually support this. I don't really care. We fixed the MLS All-Star game. Nick and I did, and John. We introduced Maddie to it, and Maddie is like low-key horrified by the insanities that we have created. This like eldritch horror of an All-Star game.
Yeah. Yeah, hell of a TV show though.
But we fixed it. Just do that. Like don't let it be serious. Like turn it into like a Royal Rumble thing. Let it be dumb.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be serious.
Have fun with it so no one gets injured and screws up the rest of their season/career because of a body check that happens in your own venue. And Leagues Cup, Tom, until the TV show known as Leagues Cup gets canceled for low ratings or low interest or whatever, it's always
not happening.
It is going to be a TV show that is going to be attached to Apple TV Plus. It is a TV show. It's like Shrinking and Ted Lasso. It is a TV show on Apple TV Plus.
Oh, I started watching Shrinking. It was pretty good.
Very yes. I'm
and look, Tom, Michael, everyone who hates it, I get it. They're making money off of it. It's not. You're not going to just be able to power it away. You can wish it away all you want, but there's money in it for them.
Mm-hmm. So, easiest thing to fix, Open Cup, Leagues Cup, just flex out your rosters. Just make it like the NBA. Don't put limits on the number of times that you can use someone and call someone up. Give your roster the accepted flexibility where LAFC did the quiet part out loud 2 seasons ago. Remember the game against Monterey Bay where they started 7 LAFC 2 players and a backup keeper and still couldn't lose to Monterey Bay? That's what they did. They did the quiet part out loud. Do that, but do it out loud. Go ahead and say it's all right to have your 2s players up there if you want. Give them that option. Expand your roster capabilities for this kind of a thing to do Open Cup. If you don't want in, shoot. Or ish. I mean, you got teams in England running through the Gummy Bear Cup right now. And short of Michael's Chelsea, who had a 400 million pound B squad out there the other day, there are times where you'll see academy kids out there for some of the big guns in Gummy Bear Cup. They'll care more about FA Cup more than they will Gummy Bear.
That's yeah. I need MLS, the Players Association, the NCAA, everybody to figure their lives out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we can have this. So we can say, hey, we're gonna punt Open Cup or Leagues Cup, and we're gonna put academy kids out there. Great, go for it.
Yeah.
Still asinine BS that a player can play in USL and still which is a professional league, and maintain their eligibility to play college athletics, but they can't play an MLS game and maintain their eligibility.
Yeah.
Get the hell on.
Yes. Michael, yes, but Shrinking and Ted Lasso are good.
there were moments of Leagues Cup that were hilarious, like in just an absurd sicko way.
Yeah.
Like there were moments where they were absolutely hilarious to watch unfold. And they're gonna need to find a way to make it more appealing as time goes on, though. Yeah, they're gonna need to refine it. I'm sure they're gonna try because again, John's right. It's a television product.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's look. I mean, but yeah, we fix the world's issues. That's why we were nominated for a football content award, because we fixed the world's problems. I imagine there was a little bit more to it than that, but yes. And yeah, schedule compression. Good Lord Christ. The absolute inverse of what happened with Atlanta United 2. You end up with, well, and because of a 3-week break, you end up with schedule compression, and you end up with, was it 6-19, I think, for the twos at one point, as I put my schedule away. But I think they had 6 matches in 19 days with the 2 3-week breaks that were thrown into their schedule. So it's like, look, just come at it with common sense, y'all. Yo.
But John, don't you know? 6 games in 19 days is fine because you had a 3-week break and you actually stockpile all of that time off. It's not like the body actually needs time to recover from things. A 3-week break covered everything. You just stockpile and you hoard all that time off. You hoard all that oxygen. You just do a little blood spinning like you're climbing up the Tour de France, and then you go about your life.
Yes, absolutely true. That is absolutely how this works. Yeah, your body, saving all of that energy from those 2-3 week breaks, then turning around and playing 6-19. It is like a squirrel trying to get ready for hibernation.
You could also expand out the rosters and expand out the salary cap and let teams build more complete teams with better depth that can play these tournaments.
Oh my God.
You could also do that.
Oh my God. Yeah, you could also do that. But no, why would you want to do something like that? No, we can't have that. Just to put a bow on what happened with LAFC and Sporting, Eric Tommy scored in the 60th after Olivier Giroud, who said he's going to fly 20 hours this month on planes for matches.
That's beginning level shit.
For Major League Soccer. Congratulations, Olivier Giroud. Welcome to traveling in the United States in general for business. Campos scored at 102. Kai Kamara scored at 109. 3-1 your final. And so because of this, because of all of that, fix your fantasy teams, people. Keep an eye on your fantasy teams and allow yourself the flexibility because of what we're seeing with Sporting. Not that you would necessarily have Sporting in your fantasy team, but keep an eye on LAFC, keep an eye on Columbus, keep an eye on Vancouver, keep an eye on Toronto when you fix your fantasy teams coming up this weekend. All right. It is hour number 2. And you know what that means? That means that we go catch up with one of the posse. And I'm stretching, and I'm looking at him. I'm looking at him in the green room. He's getting all gassed up, ready to go, because this is where we take the tour. And this is where we go fully loaded with our buddy Nino Torres, dropping all them dimes from Peru. They're always wearing his Universitario jersey. He's all dialed up on that because there's some how do we phrase, controversy involving that stuff.
Yellow. SGH community, Mr. John Nelson, Jared Smith.
Yeah.
Morning, everybody.
Yeah, man.
So happy to be here, man.
Yep. All right. So we got into Open Cup. We were talking about the U.S. Open Cup and talking about Campiones Cup and all the competitions that happened last night. And Jarrett and I were getting into the weeds, and one of the things that we did, and this was before you started joining us, going fully loaded on your Thursdays. Yes, you're going to need to be hydrated for this. Is that because of the flaws of MLS's All-Star Game, we spent 2 consecutive years fixing the MLS All-Star Game. Now it is our duty to fix Open Cup and Leagues Cup and get that on the board. So we were fixing all of that stuff and complaining about schedule compression and all these kinds of things and seeing things come out the other side. Columbus Crew make it to the last game. Yeah, and I know you got your tattoo. You got your tattoo of the Columbus, Ohio perimeter on that left soup bone of yours. There it is. And they made it to the last match in Campiones Cup before losing to Club America in penalties. So they get to the end of the line. And Jarrett is of the mindset, and I don't think he's in a minority, that Wilfred Nancy is going to be getting phone calls from the other side of the Atlantic because of what he is doing. Is he the kind of guy you think that would stay and continue to build in Columbus, or does he jump and go back home, you think?
It's a good question, man. But I think when he took the chances to get to come over here to Columbus, he didn't realize how well was he going to do. And you obviously come up with expectations to do the best of the that you can. But when you get this kind of success, we're talking about 4 finals in a year, man. For 4 finals in a year, it's an impressive for MLS teams. And I think that his commitment with the club is going to make him stay maybe for another year. I want to say one more year, okay? But then it's crazy. At the same time, it's crazy nowadays because it's so hard to turn down the obnoxious amount of money that's coming from the offers, right? And I don't know if that kind of money is going to be going down in the MLS anytime soon. So, but based on what the guy did, based on what his relationship with the players, with the club, I think I would stay one more year to see, to give me, maybe I can get another championship. Maybe I can, you gotta win that CONCACAF again, and put the not just the crew on the continental map again, but the MLS.
Jarrett, leading off with your first question for Nino here as we're fully loaded on a Thursday.
Yeah, this actually, I think might be my only one. I have a work call I have to jump on to, but
screw that.
I want to ask about. No. I want to ask about what went down with Botafogo last night.
Okay, we're going
Let's
there.
start there.
All right.
I'm choosing violence to start. I'm dropping a grenade and leaving.
Oh, so let me ask you. I'm gonna answer that question with another question. So, how many finals for Atlanta this year?
Oh,
wow. Well, there will be a final game.
Yes.
A final game on decision day. There's that.
Wow.
Settle.
Wow. Jarrett went with violence and Nino just shot right back. He took the grenade. Literally, Jarrett threw a grenade.
No, that's fine. No, because it wasn't even just the grenade; it was just the insanity of that game. That Nino, I was on the road for 10 hours yesterday, driving back from Florida, and I got home just in time for a shootout. And I sat down and thought, "What the hell is happening?" I don't know. We have for years tried to spread the gospel of Sudamericana and Libertadores to people, and every year we just keep pointing at it see, this is chaos. This is fun. Please watch.
Yes. That's what we like, man. That's what we like here in CONMEBOL, because you go into a war every single game, man. Every single game is a battle. Everything single game it's a lot of stake. And it's so much fun to watch, man. It's so much fun to watch because you got this all adrenaline from the games that there's, and we got plenty of games also coming up in Sudamericana, Libertadores tonight, and hopefully there's more to come for the MLS. I know that it's logistically undoable for the MLS to come play Libertadores or CONMEBOL or Sudamericana.
Oh,
but I asked this to Don Garber once when he was in Columbus. Boss, I said, "Hey, any chance that we're gonna go down there to play Libertadores?" And he's like, "Think about this, man. Go from Seattle to freaking Buenos Aires, man. It's like I don't know how many hours it's the flight, but it's like 15 hours, 15, give it a take, right? It's go New York to Santiago. No. But you know what? Why not try 1 year? Just 1 year, right?
There's enough money for them to try it. There's enough money on the table. They'll try anything once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, this is a lot of money on the table. So I don't know. I think if you guys, I'm talking about Domingos and Garber, president of CONMEBOL. I think why not, man? Why not? Why not try once? Just give it a try to see, and maybe if it doesn't work, okay, you said we try, right? But give it a try. Give it a try.
I mean, could you?
I would lose my mind if they would try it. Can you imagine Mercedes-Benz Stadium?
Boca Juniors.
Boca Juniors coming here for a full stadium experience. People would not know what to do. They're not prepared for that. They're not prepared for, like, hey, we sent LAFC on the road. What'd you do? We sent them to Monumental. How'd that go? Not well. No one was ready for that.
But still, man, you dropping those prospective matchups. I pulled the Rock here from WrestleMania 40. I'm doing I'm doing the goosebumps.
Olivier Giroud's played all over Europe. Drop him in Monumental at 38 years old. Like, nope. Sorry, guys, my calf tightened up. I'm good.
I mean, picture this. We're fixing international soccer this morning on Fully Loaded. That's what we're doing. I mean, picture this. If you had an LAFC, if you had a Messi and friends, if you get the Gulfstream Galacticos to go play River Plate and have it mean something, holy Christ!
No. Just let me go a step further.
Here we go. All right, we're dialing it up this morning. Go for it.
So I'm gonna, of course, I swear I didn't smoke anything weird this morning, but I want to say this, all right? How about just picture this, right? Atlanta United winning the Copa Libertadores at the Monumental.
Oh my God!
Versus River Plate.
Huh? You want money on the table? Send Inter Miami down to Newell's. Send Messi and Tata down to Newell's.
Oh wow!
Watch what happens. They might retire on the spot and just hang out for a while, but watch the attendance of that game.
But at the same time, you better have the gendarme like in like a 3-mile radius around Newell's Stadium because of all the stories that folks are saying about Messi if he ever comes home and goes back to Newell's. But I mean, to have those kinds of matchups, to have an LAFC, to have an LA Galaxy, to have a Crew, to have a Messi and friends, to have an Atlanta United going into these competitions the SDH Super Copa. That's it. That's what we're calling it.
There you go.
The SDH Super Copa. When we win the Powerball or whatever, we're going to take our random clubs that we want, throw them into this pot, and do it's like winner take all. Here's like $5 million US winner take all in this invitational, the SDH Super Copa. We're in. I got this figured out, man. We're good.
That's it. Sign me in.
I'm all jacked up now. Okay. All right. So Botafogo Sao Paulo last night. Some guy named Thiago Almada scored. Folks in Atlanta might have heard of him. Then for the longest time, it was 1-0. And then in the 87th, you get an equalizer. Then it goes to PKs. And and even though it didn't, and I say this jokingly because in the end it didn't really matter, but has that one PK knocked, and Jarrett mentioned this, that one PK that went well over the bar, has that one knocked the Michael Bradley PK into a decaying orbit?
It's got to be like that, but and you know, I was watching that game. I watched the full game of that Sao Paulo and Botafogo. And really, that Sao Paulo did not got much, man. Did not got much in Botafogo, and I'm so happy for Botafogo to reach the finals. Not the finals. There's still a couple more games.
Semis, yeah.
But they got the semifinals of a CONMEBOL tournament in 51 years, man. 51 years, man. It is ridiculous. So it's special for Botafogo, and I'm so happy for them after that. To derail from last year, they were leading for 17 points and they ended up behind. Ended up blowing up that lead. 17-point lead, man. How do you blow out 17-point lead in a tournament, man? It is ridiculous. But back to the penalty thing. That's the beauty, man. I don't know why people it's against the penalties. It's in the most even decision for a game. Then you gotta go for flipping a coin, right? But penalties are fun. Penalties are dramatic. Penalties add so much more to the game, and a lot more to the game. I'm so all for it, for the penalties. But having said that, I miss what I miss from soccer rules. It's the golden goal, man.
Okay.
That was awesome. That was super dramatic because once you score, the game was over.
Mm-hmm.
At that very moment you score, game over.
Mm-hmm.
Game over. Oh my, it's beautiful. I think they might consider to bring that back up.
That'd be pretty sweet. Tonight it is Peñarol and Flamengo. Flamengo in the juice boxes is a plus 124. They're a road favorite. 6:00 Eastern time in the U.S. Peñarol is a plus 235 and Flamengo is a plus 222.
Oh, Peñarol. Everyone should be supporting Peñarol. The Carboneros. The Giants are back, man. The Giants are back. 5-time champions, Copa Libertadores, man. 5 times, man. And they haven't won this tournament since 1987. This is the first chance to go back into the finals since 2011 when they lost to Santos. And after what I saw in the first leg, Peñarol you gotta Google that goal from Peñarol versus Flamengo, man. Just Google up because it's just magic. It's magic. All the elaboration from side to side, starting one side, finishing on the other side, and having to the character to hold on Flamengo because they went after them, but Peñarol did not flinch. Did not flinch one time. Not one time. All the structure was so solid, and they could have won it. They could have put a couple more goals with a couple more counterattacks. So could have been the distance could have been longer. But 1-0 it is what it is. And now they're going back to El Campeón del Siglo Stadium in Montevideo, sold out, completely sold out.
Better be.
Campeón del Siglo in Montevideo to welcome the almighty Flamengo. Got a roster of $250 million, bigger than anyone else in the continent. All right, it was funny because the other day we were somebody matched up the rosters of leagues. All right, leagues. Right, so the roster of Flamengo is more valuable than the entire Liga Uno in Peru, than the entire league, the Ecuadorian league, than the entire Colombian league. The league, bro. That's the difference that there is now between the Brazilians and the rest of the continent. But if there's a country that can stand up against Brazil, that's Uruguay to me. Okay. Those are the Uruguayans, and they've done it many times, and I think they're gonna do it again. It's the moment for Peñarol. Let's go, Peñarol.
All right. The other half of the bracket has already been figured out, and they don't play again until late October. It's Atletico and River Plate. And so River Plate, after knocking off Colo-Colo 2-1 in the aggregate, they advance. And Atletico was down 1-0 to Fluminense before scoring 2 goals and making their way through. So Atletico, River Plate, 1 semifinal. Botafogo waits on Peñarol, who's up 1-0 in the aggregate right now on Flamengo. So that is Copa Libertadores. Now we got to go to
that's the more even matchup right there between River Plate and Atlético Mineiro, because I think River Plate has enough to beat Atlético Mineiro. After what I saw last night, it was a massacre. 25 shots from Atlético Mineiro. 17 of those on target. 17 on target. All right. The goal was massive. Then they're scoring only 2 goals. They missed a penalty. Hulk missed a penalty. But Atlético Mineiro last night, it was wild. It was scary. And I think that River Plate, even with the almighty Gallardo and the world champions with Huevo Acuña and the return of Mancini for River Plate is going to be enough to. But who knows? I want to see a River Plate versus Peñarol final.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Sudamericana, they're still in the quarters leading into the semis. Corinthians made it no problem. They had beat Fortaleza 5-0 in the aggregate to make it to the semis. And yesterday, Lanús was going up against Independiente Medellin. And for Lanús, there's another familiar face for Atlanta United folks. It is Marcelino Moreno. So Marcelino Moreno's getting reps right now at Lanús. And Lanús, it took them a while, but they got the win. It was goalless going into leg 2. Lanús gets the win 2-1 in the aggregate. So they advance, and the other 2 matchups are today. So before we get into Libertad Asunción Cruzeiro and Atlético Paranaense Racing Club, what about Corinthians and Lanús making it through?
I think Corinthians is going to take it. Corinthians is going to take it on Lanús, and I love that my boy Andre Carrillo is starting now, not just playing for Corinthians, starting for Corinthians in the right wing. And picture this, right? Because in Brazil, if there's 2 positions that we can get more quality is wingers and outbacks, right? And he is playing as a winger in the Brasileirão. That is remarkable for Andre Carrillo at the age of 32. My boy, all my good vibes to you. And Lanús, it's a classic, man. It's a classic in Sudamericana. They always go up there when they start to make a run. It's so hard to stop him. And that's a very even matchup right there, Corinthians and Lanús. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens in those 2, man.
Today, both of them are at 8:30, so it's simultaneous play. Cruzeiro, heavy favorite at home against Libertad Asunción at a -175, and this is to win the match specifically, not to go through in the aggregate.
Okay.
Cruzeiro, big favorite, -175 to win tonight. Libertad Asunción is almost a +500 to win tonight. Racing Club, basically the same. They're a -179 tonight, hosting Atlético Paranaense at a +484. So right now the juice boxers are saying Cruzeiro and Racing Club winning tonight to work their way through. But the biggest question is, can they win big enough tonight? Because can they win big enough tonight to get through? Cruzeiro's already got a 2-0 lead. So if they win, they've got some money to play with here. Atlético Paranaense is up 1-0 heading into leg number 2. Racing Club has some work to do.
I think that Racing Club game is going to go into penalties, man.
Okay.
They're going to go into penalties. I don't think that even though, but who knows, right? Because if we got Martinez and Quintero in a big night, it could be something special for Racing that they're looking to go back into the semifinals of international competition after 27 years. It's been a long time in the making for Racing, who has a Gustavo Costas, a man of the house, right? A big Racingista leading the way. But it all depends. It all depends. If the Colombians are on fire, case closed.
Okay.
Case closed. Nothing goes without penalties. But it could be either way. And the other matchup, Cruzeiro, they're not going to have any mercy on Libertad. I'm sorry, Libertad. You got your chances. If this is the thing, if the Paraguayans don't win at home, they're done.
Yeah.
So yeah, you gotta go now. Go to Brazil, and you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it.
All right. So I have your list, and we have 3 topics to get to before we do the handoff. And I know that you probably want to ask about Libertadores and Sudamericana with Niko when he shows up here in probably about 10 minutes. So since we are discussing what's going on the South American continent, story involving your jersey. You say, historical championship controversy between the 2 Peruvian giants, Universitario and Alianza Lima. Please, sir, explain and expound.
So it was crazy, right? I don't know what's going on with the people from Alianza Lima, because this is the year of the Centenario Universitario, for the 100 years of the club. And then they've been throwing stories here and there. But yesterday, it was one of the I mean, for us, it's funny, right? For Universitario fans, it's funny because it's all said and done. Universitario has more championships than anyone else, right? We got 27 titles. Alianza Lima has 25. But there is this story from the title from 1934. 1934. So the books, the official records from the Peruvian Soccer Federation says that our Universitario Deportes won the title for 1934, right? And Alianza Lima won the previous three. They got the 3 championships in a row. They could have done it 4 in a row, unprecedented. It never is done. It has never been done in Peru. Anyway, so but there is this historians. They say that no, that's not true. That Alianza Lima won that year, even though the title points at 21 points, right? 21 points for Alianza, 21 points for Universitario, but it was decided because of the result of the reserves. So Alianza reserve beat Universitario's reserve, and that's how they decided the title, right? And then the Peruvian Soccer Federation said, you know what? We're gonna play one matchup. It took like 6 months or so. We're gonna play another matchup. We cannot leave this like that. We cannot be deciding this tournament because of the.
We're gonna do a +1.
There you go. You know, we're gonna play one game and one game only. And guess who won? We won, right? But no. This is not true. This is not true. You guys are fake. So this guy, this random journalist, sent an email to FIFA in February, right? February 23rd, I think is the date.
Oh my God.
He just got a response yesterday. Right? Yesterday got the response.
7 months.
No, the champion of 1934 in Peru is Alianza Lima. And it's been going on all around. You have no idea.
This is like, man, it's like Southeastern Conference football. It's like, rivalries. No, we've got this many wins. No, we've got this. No, we know exactly what you're talking about with college football and those kinds of things, brother. That's about par. That's about par.
It was funny, man. It was funny.
That is absolutely, and so yeah, I can see how you guys are taking swings at each other over that. But yeah, that is a college football Saturday in the Southeast, man. You get those rivalry numbers.
They're the official records, man. The records are the records.
Oh no. Look, there are college football rivalries in the southeastern United States where they dispute the number of wins. And it goes back to those times that are 90 to 100 years ago where records and newspapers, you remember newspapers, where it's like, this is what we think happened, but how many people were there and how many people remember it? And like, no, we won that game. No, that one didn't count. We had our guys off to war and we had a team of non-students that were there. Oh, absolutely. No, this is par for the course.
And I'm gonna do something about this, man, because I'm not done with this. I'm sick of these aliancistas that they're saying this. I know you don't win. You guys are fake. Your title is for 93% fake. To the newspaper in Peru here is the biggest one of all, El Comercio. They have of course their archive. And I'm going to go there and dive in. Give me the files from 1934. I'm going to pull it up. I don't know if I can take a picture or not, but we'll figure something out. But I'm going to go there and pull the official records from that year because they have it. They do have it. So, Alianza Lima, watch out.
All right. You are hip deep in the Portuguese Primera right now with what you're doing with Goal TV. And it is time to get out the trumpet and hit it as loud as humanly possible. Grab the siren, sit there and wind it up and make it as loud as possible because you are turning into the Victor Gyökeres fan club president. Understandably so, considering what he's doing at Sporting, but you are sounding the Gyökeres siren and hitting it as loud as humanly possible. The question that you brought to the table, is he the best striker in the world right now? Your evidence, counselor, leads to what?
Leads to 40 goals in 40 games this year. No one has more goals than Victor Gyökeres in the planet. He has more than Mbappe. He has more than Haaland. He's ahead of those two. All right. And not only that, in the last 10 matches, last 10, listen to this, huh? 17 goals and 5 assists in the last 10 matches. So tell me if your boy Haaland has done that. Huh? Tell me, just tell me. No, nobody is a little as Victor Gyökeres right now on the planet, man, on the planet. All right, so bring it on, and of course we're gonna see him in the Champions League now, week after week. He's gonna keep adding out those numbers, and then when they're going down to Eindhoven next week. So I think it's gonna be another massive night for Victor Gyökeres in the Champions League. And now this is hopefully in the winter transfer window.
Ooh.
No crazy dude comes up with 200 million to take out Gyökeres out of the Premier League. That's the only way that they can take him out, because his release clause right now is 100 million now.
And it's going to get even bigger and bigger with Gyökeres. If Sporting can pull the trigger, my guess is it'll happen after the regular season's over, because they don't want to, they don't want to upset things in what they're doing right now. They want to win the league. They want to go as far as they can in Champions League. They got to hang on to Gyökeres until the season's over. Then I think they make the deal. You also had a really cool story involving Sporting CP and one of their big fans. What happened there?
Yeah, it was crazy, right? Because I was calling the game, the Sporting game last weekend, and I saw this grandma with her jersey of Sporting, right? All the fans, all the head coach. He got pictures with the players, and I was going on the air. And it is so cool, because when something like this happens in Portugal, I always say on there, guys, film in here what's going on. That people on X, people on Instagram, everywhere, just write to me what's happening. I don't know what's happening, because I prep for the game, but I'm not prepped for an old lady coming into the stadium, right, wearing his 83-year-old jersey. I don't know what's going on. So then, boom, somebody said that to me. Boom, send it to me. It says, this lady lost her house on a fire, because there's a lot of fires in Portugal right now, as well as in Peru too. I'm glad that they're they're over now. But the TV was, this lady is losing her house, but she was saving her Sporting Club stuff from the fire.
Wow.
Right, her memorabilia. That's what she saved. That's what she rescued from her house. Nothing else but her beloved club's memorabilia. And so they saw that on the news. They called the lady. It was just the people to understand what the passion for the sport, for your club, and your colors are in your heart, man, for a reason.
How much? That's very cool. How much Universitario stuff do you have there in the studio de Nino? How much stuff do you have of Universitario?
I got a couple of things. But I promise you, right? Hold
on.
I want to show you something. Hold on, my boy here.
Oh yeah, here we go. We are a pet friendly environment. We are pet friendly. Oh yeah, here we go. There he is, bringing the man to the table. There he's like, what am I doing? Oh, he's got his jersey.
Universitario jersey, buddy.
That's awesome. You woke him up. He's just like, Dad, can you put me back on the sofa? I was sleeping. Can you do that for me?
Yes.
You woke him up to show the jersey. He's like, man, can you just put me back on? Can you put me back on the sofa? You woke my ass up to show that. But as always, we are a guardian. We are a guardian promoting zone, and any time that the pups make their way on, it is always approved. By the way, the Rowdy Man, since the boss is now headed to work, Rowdy Man is under his table.
Oh yeah,
and he's just like, yeah, whatever. He's out. He's just like, yeah. I mean, that's his standard position. What he does, he'll be under his table, looking at the entryway to the office, being the guardian and protector that he is. So if someone that he doesn't know, or if he hears a noise, he's out like a shot. He's down the hall and he's out the door, and he's making sure that everything is okay. And so anytime that we get to show our guardians and our friends, that is always going to be the case. My other question for you has to do with what you're calling this weekend, because for those on Gold TV that get to watch you on Gold TV, and everybody that we are trying to get Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. That way you help out us, you help out Fanatis, you get to hear and hang out with our man Nino here. What is the schedule this weekend for you?
We got a light schedule this weekend. We only got 2 games on Saturday and 2 games on Sunday. Of course, we got the big dogs from Portugal. Got the Benfica's game on Saturday. It's at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Benfica versus Gil Vicente. Then we got the Uruguayan Championship with Wanderers versus Danubio. Danubios, the only leader that's running perfect in the Uruguayan Championship. I'm all for that game. And then on Sunday, Porto versus Aruca, the Dragons. All right, guys, since I was mentioning strikers, right? But I also Porto got a striker, Spaniard, 23 years old, Samuel Omorodion. The guy scored 3 goals in the last 112 minutes.
Yeah, we have been keeping an eye on Amorodion and finding out what he's going to be like, because the paycheck will exist for Amorodion coming up in short order. All right, last half hour of the show. We know what that means. That means we add Seattle to the mix. I run a fancy open. We turn it into a 3-way dance with a handoff. I imagine today that the conversation is going to be Sudamericana, Libertadores. We'll get into that coming up. So let me hit the fancy open. We'll bring in Seattle. It'll be Atlanta, Peru, and Seattle in the final half hour here of the show with our buddy Niko Moreno. And so, of course, I promote it all, and I'm sitting here looking. It's like, where's my open? And I can't find my open to hit it. All right, here we go. Found the open. Fancy open. Here we go. That time. Beat 2, 3, 4. It is Nino, it is Niko, and it is Nelson. That's where we are here for the final half hour. We're starting with the handoff. Nino, what did you want to talk about with Niko this week? Did you want to do a Libertadores and Sudamericana? What did you want to go?
Yeah, we want to go on the Libertadores. We'll have, unfortunately, there's no Colombian teams on the picture, neither Peruvians. So it'll be nice to see that, and anytime soon. But Niko, who do you think can make a run next year for the Colombian League in the Copa Libertadores?
Oh man, that's tough, man. The Colombian League has been in such a disarray as of late. Actually, my team of Colombia, Atlético Nacional, they're usually at the top of all of these sort of tournaments. I'm not used to watching a Copa Libertadores where Atlético Nacional is not a protagonist on. Junior was the last one to really be any sort of competition this year. So it's been a difficult one. I like Nacional either way, not just because it's my team, but I feel like it's one that is starting to get a group of players, both young and experienced. They're not going the Cali way, which is going way older, trying to recycle all the old talent that the league has had. So I think Nacional is a team that hopefully can get back to its roots of winning and begin to mold more players, not just in this sort of tournament, but to pass them on to Europe, which is something that's pretty particular for Atlético Nacional.
All right, that's the handoff. As we go through Sudamericana, we go through Libertadores, and we even talked a little bit about what's going on with Nino and his Columbus, Ohio perimeter tattoo. We'll get into that with Niko coming up in just a little bit. Nino, as always, my friend, great to have you for the first half hour of the Power Hour here on Thursday when we go fully loaded. Be safe. Make sure that the boss, your lead security agent, continues to nap wearing his Universitario jersey on the sofa behind you. Do not be a stranger. We will catch up with you next week, and anytime you want to crash, you know you can crash.
Thank you so much, guys. Always a pleasure. I'll see you next time.
You got it. Love you
Have a
very
good
much.
one.
Be safe, and we will catch up soon. All right. And now Nino's going to go into the green room. What Nino does when we sign off after the handoff, he listens in the green room. He doesn't just hang up. I mean, what he'll do, he'll sit there and he'll listen to us talk about Major League Soccer. Oh, he's got the rave green out. Which cup, 2 or 3?
This is 2, baby. This
Okay.
is 2.
All right.
Absolutely.
So he'll kind of hang out in the green room and he'll react to what you and I are talking about. Literally, there'll be times where he'll fall out of his chair, and I can see it in the green room. So we have our South American live audience falling out of their chairs as we go through things. We started the show off this morning talking about the 3 championship games that happened last night, with what happened in Campeones Cup, with what happened in the Can Champ, and with what happened in Open Cup. Where do you want to start when it comes to those 3?
Well, I watched 2 out of 3, so I would love to start with Open Cup, and then maybe we can move into Campeones Cup after that.
All right, so it was 3-1. Kai Kamara, obviously, with the quote of the day after the match was over. He said, Don was here, meaning Don Garber. I saw him. He was on the podium. He gave me a medal. So just get him in here and make sure they don't take MLS away from this. This is amazing. This is American soccer right here. Don't take away from our history, end quote. So Kai Kamara scores. Kai, who is, I think, 72 years old and still is incredibly productive from Cal State University. He knows what the American soccer footprint is. He knows what it means to be in all these different competitions and all these different locations. He gets an Open Cup medal. It's something that LAFC, despite their negative nature of playing these days, they fight through it and still end up winning titles. Olivier Giroud was all happy and everything. The most handsome man in Major League Soccer scored last night. I see this as adding hardware, but I don't see this for LAFC as something where they will open up things offensively. I still think that they're going to be defensive first and frustrate everybody except for Steve Cherundolo, who I will maintain ever since they got bumped out of CONCACAF Champions League when they were all offensive and they had Carlos Vela and all the stars. Ever since then, Steve Cherundolo has pulled back offensively. He's wanted to make sure that the golf tee is in the golf cart, and he's got the governor on it. And I think that he's restricting the talent that's there. It's almost like pounce and create instead of create and pounce. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. However, I feel like if he's built a team that can benefit from that sort of play, then I think it's all good and well, right? I mean, I've always been like you, right? Kind of this purist of beautiful soccer, and I want to see you hold the ball, and I want to see you use the width of the field, and I want to see a little bit of flair and some connection, some link-up play. But Steve, I think he saw himself in some situations. I mean, you don't lose 4 finals and don't try to change things up. And throughout that time, he has been a coach that would rather play counter soccer and rather give you the ball. And like you said, not create, but maybe just leave off your mistakes. We're going to press the ball. We're going to go in transition. And I think he's built a team for it, right? I mean, the wing play is elite. It doesn't matter which way you go. You go Buanga, you go Bogut, you go Kike Oliveira. You got guys that can run perfectly when it comes to a transition moment. You have a holding midfield that is quick distributing the ball, that is going to try as much as they can at delivering that switch of play or switching the point of attack whenever it's necessary, whenever you see the space on the other side. So because of that, I don't hate it. And I thought that in this particular final, they struggled a little bit because Peter Vermees, in a very Peter Vermees type of situation, he gave LAFC the ball, and he was very cautious. And yes, a lot of people were criticizing Peter for looking afraid in the first half, and I think that's outrageous, man. I mean, you're playing LAFC. If I'm going to go play you open and I'm going to try to just beat you at what you're good at, I'm not going to go anywhere. And I thought that that's why this game was as even as it was throughout the first 90. I thought that Peter did some great things, right? I mean, he really limited situations. Even with Denis Bouanga, did look like Denis Bouanga of old. I'll tell you that. He was all over. He was a handful. Speed, I'm gonna come right at you. Clearly taking advantage of Shelton, a non-defensive minded player as a right back, and you saw Kai later on do the same. But Denis Bouanga I thought was on point. I thought Giroud this was the best game I've seen him play since he started with LAFC. Obviously, with LAFC and MLS, please don't come at me. This is not the best game I've ever seen him play. I mean, with this particular team.
Yeah.
And I thought that the speed that Peter wanted to see out of that midfield, out of their center defensive midfielders, I thought created some problems at times for LAFC. So it was a great game. And Kai Kamara, you got to just applaud the man. It's so effortless for him. That third goal is the final punch that completely knocked out Sporting Kansas City. It was 2-1. It could have still been tied up. It could have been equalized at some point. But Kai Kamara, the way he literally jogs to the 18, he's looking at Denis Bouanga the entire time. Denis Bouanga is doing his thing on the side. He continues to just lightly jog. He sees that Shelton has no idea he is right behind him. And when Denny puts that ball inside with good pace at the right spot, he just runs right in front of Shelton and puts the ball away. Effortless. And that's what he's been doing for this team. And that's credit to Cherundolo for being able to use a guy like him with his experience, with his IQ, and they deservingly won that Open Cup. But I do want to credit Sporting Kansas City for making it hard, for taking it to OT, for not allowing themselves to just get beat down by LAFC. Tommy is a guy that he's always been productive. He's done it all for Sporting Kansas City. He's been in the back line. He's been on out playing out wide. He's played middle. In this one, he played as a cam, and I thought he did it well. It was nice to see him and Shallowy put that goal for Sporting Kansas City. But LAFC was just too much at the end of the day. LAFC wanted it. You saw it in their faces. You saw it in the celebration. They wanted to get that rust off being, or that stigma of being the best, second best after 4 consecutive lost finals.
The best never to win until.
That's right.
2 more questions about LAFC. And to your point about Sporting, if I'm Peter Vermes in that matchup, you're on the road, you're going up against a team that is better than you. Why not let them have the ball? Why not let them? It's almost like Vermes wants to rope-a-dope you. And literally it's like, all right, you can have the ball. You spend all of your energy. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to wait. For a philosophy on a road game against a team that is better than you, I could definitely see, look, I'm going to rope-a-dope your ball. You go ahead and you tire yourself out, and I'll take advantage of it late. I can understand why Peter would do something like this for the first however many minutes. I get that completely.
Yeah, and he said it. I don't know if it was after the game, but he said, I knew they were going to come at us with everything they had within the first 20 minutes. So he had to hold on. He had to do certain things. And we did that holding on. Pulido gets a great chance in front of goal. And now Pulido is a guy that he needs to put those type of goals away. And we're talking about a whole different ball game, right? And that's been Sporting Kansas City's season in a nutshell, right? It's just the fact that their top players are not at top form right now. And guys like Shallowy and Pulido, even Russell, who obviously is at the end of his career already, or at least not in his prime, right. They're starting to see a little bit of problems. But I thought that the strategy was put on right. I thought that they played the game that was going to give them the best chance to win. And again, anytime that you take LAFC to overtime with the limitations and problems you've had all season, I mean, that's credit to Peter.
How does Carlos Vela fit under the salary cap? Did they just give him like an Albertsons gift card or something for I mean, literally, is it like Arco and Albertsons gift cards and, maybe a lifetime gift card to In-N-Out Burger? How did this come down? How did this fit?
That's a great question. I know that they had room. It wasn't much.
Okay, and that was my biggest thing. It's like, how creative are they? Did they actually have room? Was it a gift cards kind of a thing? What was Thorington working with here?
All I know is that they did have room both in roster and in salary. And that number, I'm unaware of what that is because I've read a couple of different reports and I don't want to give you a wrong number, but there was room for it. whether that number is the same number that, they told us they gave Garrett Bale at one point, and what they're saying that they're giving Lloris, I'm not sure what's behind the scenes. If they do get that In-N-Out lifetime warranty, if they get a free pass for their entire family to hit up Disneyland, I don't know. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there's got to be something else in line. But look, the Carlos Vela thing is interesting, man. It's more of a celebration to him. I think it's just like a farewell tour. I love the way Carlos kind of tamed all expectations. Man, I'm not ready to play in any team. I'm just here just to help the squad, right? Probably later down the road. Yeah. And I think that's what it's going to be. He's going to be training. He's going to be with the guys. He's going to enjoy of whatever One LAFC makes this season. And whenever his number is called, he'll be ready to play 15, 20 minutes. Maybe I don't know if he'll get a start, but if he does, he's going to have to get used to all the changes that have happened with his offense. He's going to have to get his body right. And he let you know already that his body's not right to start or to play any minutes at this point in time. So I think it's more of a celebration to a player that was great. Look, I kind of envy them. I would love to see a Nicolás Todero final tour in the Club World Cup next year, but it's just not going to happen. But I thought that it was a cool, interesting thing. I love that Thorington ended up even answering some questions in Spanish about the decision to bring back a player as important as Carlos Vela. But in terms of the salary cap, I'm sure they did some magic tricks because I don't know how he fits.
Yeah, Chiellini, Bale, Lloris, Giroud, Vela. There's some creative financing going on here with.
Yeah, but it was weird. I mean, if this was going to be the end game? Yeah. Why didn't Carlos just accept whatever it is that was negotiated before? Yeah. I mean, it's a little bit odd. I'm not gonna lie to you. That part, I like to see the best of the novel, of the series, of the gesture, but it is a bit of a head scratcher of why you would just decide to sit for 6 months and then come back and take pennies on the dollar at the end of the day.
Yep. Can champ Vancouver won in PKs, and they win the can champ, so they get their way into the CONCACAF Hemispheric Extravaganza. Columbus and Club America go to PKs. Tied after 90, go to PKs. Club America wins at 5-4. We were talking about it with Nino to begin this hour, and he thinks that it might be one more year after this one before Wilfred Nancy and Columbus Crew and Jimmy Haslam are given the offer that they can't refuse to have Wilfred Nancy go overseas and manage someplace and have the chance to go home. Do you get the sense that Wilfred is happy with the resources he's getting with the Haslams in Columbus and would stay longer than that? Or is he looking for larger frontiers?
I think he's happy there. I think, and I don't know Wilfred like this, but if I was to paint a picture of what I think goes on in that big brain of his, I think that he likes what he has right now. He has the ability to mold young players. He has all the resources that he can. He has a team of brilliant players, and you saw it in the play. We'll get into that in a little bit, that he can work with. So he's all good right now. But in soccer, things tend to change day to day. So I'm looking at Cucho. I'm looking at how much he's making. I know he's looking around the league. I know he has still time on his contract, but there's going to be a point where he's going to be like, hey, man, I'm over here dominating in MLS and I'm not getting dominated money. I look around the league and even, this current contract of Raul Ruidiaz is still above mine. And I think Evander makes more than I do. And I think, all these players that are not Cucho are making more than I do. I need to get a raise. So how does management make sure that a guy as important as Cucho stays and that keeps Wilfred happy there? We'll see. But I feel like the infrastructure of Columbus and what they've been able to do, even moving on from certain front office personalities, and they've been able to keep that theory and that soccer module. I think Wilfred is fine, and I don't think he's dying to get to Europe. I'm not sure. That's what I see when he talks. So I think he's happy there. As long as things continue to be the same, I feel like Wilfred's smart enough that he's not in any type of rush to put himself in a situation that might not just be advantageous to him, but to his career. I mean, at this point, continue to win, continue to get the benefit of being the top team in MLS, continue to be that guy that everybody looks up to when it comes to the way you play, the way that you've managed the locker room, all of these things. And then later on down the road, then you could go ahead and make that push. So if I had to say whether he wants to stay or not, I think for right now, and at least for a couple of years, he'd want to stay in MLS.
Cucho, to your point, and I found the salary figures courtesy of our friends at the MLSPA. Cucho's base is 2.6.
Mm-hmm.
Guaranteed comp just under 2.9. Some of the other heavy hitters in Columbus, Nagbe 1.4 base, 1.54 guaranteed. Rossi 2.675 base, guaranteed $3,376,827. That's Rossi guaranteed. And those are the only ones that are into seven-figure players on Columbus. It's just those three that are making more than $1 million a season. Those three guys. And Cucho right now is second at 2.6 and 2.886 behind Diego Rossi on that roster.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And compared to what Wilfred was coming from, I mean, that's got to feel pretty good. And I do expect this team to go and get more people. And when I saw guys like Juwan Jones come in for whatever money they did, that looked like a move that Wilfred said, I need that guy, I want that guy, and they got him that guy. So I'm not really of the thought that he needs a big wallet and just wants undeniable money like Atlanta or Miami. I just think that he wants the guys he wants, and as long as you provide him those players, he's going to be fine. And again, as long as you give him the guys that have made a difference on the field and off the field, Rossi, all those big name players, Nagbe, and keep them with those sort of resources, I think he's going to be fine.
Right now, Patrick Schulte, who's probably going to be getting a big raise, his comp right now full is $180,000. Wow. So that is going to be going that direction with Schulte at the very least.
How much is Farsi making?
Mo Farsi, according to the MLS players salary grouping, he's $350 base, $380 guaranteed.
They've just done such a good job with that. I mean, when you look at those players and you look at the talent level, at some point, and maybe this is one of those situations where it's the perfect moment for the team because you got all of these upcoming players that haven't really reached top salaries. Yeah. But when you look at Farsi, Moreira, when you look at Christian Ramirez and what he's making, again, even Cucho could be asking for double what he's making, but he came in at this specific price and time. When you look at Juwan Jones, when you look at Matan, I mean, these are quality players that have been consistent for this team, and yet they're at a very low salary. So just credit to that front office and what they've been able to do, the way they've been able to do it.
They're all making mid-six figures. To answer the names that you mentioned, Christian Ramirez, full compensation, just under $500,000. We mentioned Schulte right now. He's at 160, 603. He's going to get a big raise, and a big ass raise is what he's going to be getting. Let's see. Morera's at 800,000 base, 882 guaranteed. Matan coming in from his time with NYCFC and other places, 450 base, 483 and a quarter is guaranteed. And we mentioned Farsi. Shaberko is at 553 and a quarter guaranteed. Rudy Camacho, 551 total guaranteed. And Malte Amundsen just under 400,000 guaranteed. So there's a lot of six-figure dudes there, but they're all mid-six-figure dudes. And so there's a good massaging that's been going on with salaries and the salary cap. You know what time it is?
Oh, it is cliffhanger time.
It is cliffhanger time. So we're going to run through the games. And if there's a game you want to talk about, total, number, we'll do it. 7:30 starts, 7:40 actually. So 7:30 in the book, 7:40 on Apple TV. CF Montreal, San Jose. CF Montreal favored at Stade Saputo at a -119. DC and Crew. Crew is a road favorite. Even after last night, they are still a road favorite at a +133. DC United a +175. The draw is a +277. Interesting there, coming off a midweek game with Crew having to go to DC. I thought that was intriguing.
What's the draw?
277.
Yeah. I'd probably go with a draw there. Maybe Columbus goes and just manages this game. DC United, if anything, they can create some problems for that three-man back line, specifically with their crosses. I thought that yesterday they put themselves in some bad situations. I mean, that goal by Davila, that is a new signing for Club America from Chile. Very good, very fast. It happens on a little bit of a breakdown where your lines are just too high. You're pressing. They try to repress and they failed, not by anything that they didn't do, but credit to Club America. And all of a sudden you got a guy running in front right at your goal and he puts that one away. So yeah, I think that might be a situation in which maybe Columbus gets a draw.
All right, other matchups as we roll. Here we go. It is, I'm going to save Atlanta, Philly, and Seattle, Houston to the end. It is FC Cincinnati, LAFC. FC Cincinnati at TQL, a -104, draws a +281. LAFC coming out off of last night at home, flying to Cincinnati is a +250.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's what's the goals on this one?
All right, so let's see what direction we go here. So FC Cincinnati and LAFC, we're going to go over under. And once again, this is courtesy of our friends in the composite at Odds Portal. 2.5 a -183, 3.5 a +136. So that's where it changes. 3.5 at +136. Under 3.5 is a -175.
Wow. No, if I had to do this game, because I feel like it's going to be hard to decipher because of all the factors you just mentioned, because Cincinnati within themselves have been not the Cincinnati of old. I could see a 2-2 draw in this one. And let me say that we did pretty good last week on the goals differentials. And if it wasn't because Atlanta messed me up, we would have gotten Atlanta as well. but we did pretty well. So I'm gonna go 3.5 in this one. I'm gonna take the draw for a 2-2 between Cincinnati and LAFC.
All right, so we'll go 2-2 draw. By the way, over at 4 is a +239. Under 4 is a -335. Since you punched that number, figured we'd go there. Messi and friends at the Erector set are going to be waiting for Charlotte to try to get out of this mess. My guess is Charlotte's going to fly out of Helene as soon as they can. Messi and friends a -192. Charlotte has only won twice, I think, since July 4th. So Charlotte a +433. Your draws a +373. New England, flat out even money, +100 at home, hosting Nashville. Nashville's a +250, and your draw is a +263. Intriguing.
Give me Nashville, man. Give me Nashville.
At a +250.
Give me Nashville.
I mean, those numbers are just odd, you know?
They are odd, man. I like those numbers. Look, allow me to use your platform to just tell Carlos Hill that it is not the way that you come at a defender that's the thing between him and Javier Arriaga and the way he pushed him, the way he came at him, the whole thing. Caleb called it embarrassing. It was embarrassing, but but Carlos Hill, as the face of the franchise, the best player, he cannot come out of Javier Arriaga like that. And regardless of whether he was having a terrible game or not, that's not here nor there. That's not leadership, man. You can't come at your player like that and dog him right in front of everybody as you're walking towards the tunnel. Do it in the locker room. Keep it in the locker room. Don't do it in front of everybody. Come on. I think that New England imploded last game. They allowed Charlotte to put 4 on you. That's Charlotte, baby. 4 on you. So I think that in this one, with all of the bad vibes, all of the problems, Dylan Borrero suspended, all of the things that happened in New England, I think Nashville's a good pick this week.
All right. We'll go from there to Hudson River. Red Bulls hosting New York City. Red Bulls a plus 112. Draws a plus 267. And NYCFC on the road crossing over the rivers a plus 219.
That's a draw, baby. That's a draw, and that's a safe draw on my regard. And again, thank you, Red Bulls, for ruining my Atlanta pick. That one was tough. Or Atlanta ruining my pick on that one, because that looked good. That Atlanta was going to take that game, and they didn't. But yeah, I think it's going to be a draw. New York City's been interesting, man, because they have a lot of quality players. They seem to at least have gotten the 9 situation situated, but they still seem to have issues managing games in general. They played well, or actually Miami didn't play well, and they were able to get a draw against Miami. But I think that there are things with New York City FC that can change in the future. But between these two teams, I think a draw is pretty safe.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. We're going to save Philly and Atlanta. We're going to save Seattle and Houston for the end. Austin hosting RSL. Austin favored at home at Q2 at a plus 133. RSL plus 183. Chicago hosting Toronto at a minus 102. Obviously looking at having Toronto traveling to Vancouver, then having to come back and play in Chicago on the weekend. Toronto's a plus 257. Draws a plus 266. If the purple team can get out of Central Florida, they're supposed to play in Dallas. FC Dallas a plus 133. Draws a plus 2.5. And Orlando City's a plus 192. Loons hosting Rapids at a minus 101. Colorado a plus 234. Draws a plus 291. Battle of the Interstate. I always forget what interstate it is that links St. Louis and Kansas City. All caps a minus 125. And draws a plus 313. Sporting's a plus 283, especially with what happened in the midweek. Sporting having to play 120 minutes in Los Angeles, having to come back. You're playing on the road in St. Louis, taking on City SC. You're a dog. And then Vancouver and Portland in Cascadia. Vancouver playing at home after the midweek, winning in PKs, a minus 109 against Portland. The draws a plus 312. Portland is a plus 238. And so,
wow, really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So let me get 2. One, I would definitely take Portland over Vancouver in this one, although Portland was another one that could have been real good for me last week, and then it ended up being a draw. But they were there. We did get the goals on that one, by the way. But I'll take Portland on this one, and I want to see the goals on FC Dallas and Orlando City, because that's going to be an interesting one. Look, FC Dallas is not the FC Dallas of old. I think that in the non-Niko Steves era, they are not just more dangerous because of the structure of the play. I just feel like they'd be more decisive. And of course, the fact that they're getting Ferreira back and Velasco back, I mean, those players are so important. You saw that last week. I think that in this one, with another team that likes to get forward in Orlando City, there could be a lot of goals.
2.5 a minus 140, 3.5 a plus 174. So technically it changes at 3 to a plus 119. So 3.5, if you go 2-2, that's a plus 174 if you take the over there.
What, 4.5?
4.5. 4.5 is a plus 394. So if you're looking at 3-2 or 4-1, plus 394.
Give me the 4.5. I should have taken more 4.5s last week, and I didn't. We would have hit that Portland game. We would have hit that Columbus game. So this week I was thinking I'm going to go more 4.5s. That's one of them. I'll take the 4.5, Orlando and FC Dallas.
David is asking if Schulte is a Generation Adidas or a homegrown. Schulte is on his option year that was renewed in his first 3-year deal, and so I'm efforting to figure out if he's a GA or if he's a homegrown product.
I thought he was a homegrown.
Yeah, I think
I'm almost certain that he's a homegrown.
All right, so we'll go with homegrown until evidence comes otherwise about Patrick Schulte. Okay, last 2 matchups on the board: Atlanta at Philadelphia. Philadelphia minus 141 in the playoff chaos in the East. Your draw's a plus 330. Atlanta's a plus 317, provided that they can get out of town. What do you think?
That's a tough one, man. Atlanta has been such a headache for me. And Philadelphia has bounced back. I could see why the numbers are what they are. I know you guys probably don't want to hear it, but I think another draw in the future of Atlanta is pretty possible. I just think Atlanta has had so many woes defensively and just bad moments in general, not taking care of the right moments. I know it's hard sometimes to play in front of the substitute teacher that you know he's not going to be the remaining teacher, but man, it's tough sometimes to watch Atlanta. So yeah, man, I'll go with the draw on that one.
All right, and so let's wrap up with yours, and your matchup is one of the late games on Saturday, hosting Dynamo. Seattle's a minus 123, draws a plus 268. Houston is a plus 330. What say you, Niko Moreno? You laugh to start things out. Wow.
Man, I don't know why I like that 330, man. Look, I think a draw is probably a safer bet. I think Seattle against San Jose went back to a lot of the problems that they've had all season. Houston is not an easy game to beat. Houston is not an easy team to break down.
Right.
Houston has some quality, experienced midfielders. And without Joe Pablo and the fact that it's going to be Josh Atencio and Obed Vargas in the midfield, which both quality players, I just think that against Orlando, you need a little bit of those dark arts. You need a little bit of that experienced play, a little shoulder here, a little elbow there. I mean, not that I'm trying to encourage anybody from playing the game that way, but I feel like it's just going to be a very physical game. I think Ponce can really give Seattle some issues because of the movement that he can have in the final third. So I'm over here just moving it around. I think Houston wins it, and I think they win it by the minimum, by a 1-0 score in Seattle. And I hope I'm wrong, and I hope I don't get, canceled over here in Seattle, but I feel like Houston is equipped to give Seattle headaches and give Jordan Morris headaches. And when there is no plan B by this Sounders team, when Jordan isn't scoring, I think that this one could go to Houston.
All right, so that is the rundown of everything this week in this week's version of Cliffhanger. So what is going on with you in Pulso Sports on the soccer bar? I know that you've got probably about a half hour to catch your breath and head toward Cup number 3.
I do. So we got definitely soccer bar. We are going to be talking about a lot more into depth into Campeones Cup. What happened? What went right? What went wrong? I thought it was a very exciting game. I thought it was entertaining, regardless of where both of these teams are in the standings. At the end of the day, it's a battle of two countries. They played it that way. So we're going to go into that. We're going to have a conversation with Danny Leyva, another player that has been molded here in Seattle. He came out of the academy. He's very talented, but hasn't really broken out. He hasn't really had the ability to turn himself into this player that, we all think he can be at some point. So check that out. That's going to be both in Soccer Bar and Pulso Sports. And then we'll be at the training grounds at Providence and Swedish Clubhouse later on today. So check that out as well at Pulso Sports.
Mr. Schmetzer's Clubhouse, as always. It's great to have you on Thursdays, my friend. Enjoy your second cup as you head toward your third. Be safe.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And by the way, we will also have a really good podcast with Jeremiah O'Shan. that we'll be recording today. I don't know when he'll drop it, but it should be spicy. We're gonna be looking into the Sounder season, where they're at. Brian Smetzer right now. The conversation is contract ends at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Do you keep them? Do you move on? What do you do? Are you happy where they are? So check that one out. It's gonna be a spicy little podcast there.
Spicy. All right. As always, my friend, great to see you and great to hear from you, and have everything. May everything stick to the cards. May all the interviews work out well, and we will catch up with you next week. Always great to see you, my friend.
Thank you, boss. Have a good one.
All right, that's Niko. So Niko. We're like the beginning of his busiest day of the week. Literally, it's like he comes on with us. He's taking the kids to school, and then he comes on with us after racing, like Dylan. Dylan takes his daughter to school, and then he hops on with us after 10 o'clock when he can, if he's not having to do anything with varsity media or anything else family related. So Dylan comes on Wednesdays after dropping off his daughter at school. Niko takes his kids to school, and then he hops on with us at 7:30 in the morning. I'm traditionally, that's when, maybe I'm awake, or just I'm not, because I'm not alert. I'm not maybe awake. And then he comes on with us. Then he's got Sounder at Heart. Then he's got Pulso Sports, Soccer Bar, all those kinds of things. And then his day's off and running. He goes to Providence and Swedish to go catch up with Mr. Schmetzer's neighborhood and see what's going on there. Okay. We got news. We will get into the news of the day before we get out of here. Tropical storm warning, by the way, has been issued for the SDH home footprint. So biggest thing, as always, be safe, be safe, be safe. Tomorrow, if we have power, we'll do a show. If we don't have power, we'll let you know out on socials that we don't have power and can't do a show. Scheduled, Bart's going to join us off the top, and I'm warning him of that. So Bart's going to join us off the top because of reffing down here moments and getting into the whole PK discussion as we had in the timeline. Getting into the whole PK discussion, Bart had some reffing down here moments that he came across from the competitions on Wednesday. We'll talk about that. He'll bat leadoff. Then, if our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring are in a safe place, we can catch up with them. Then we've got weekend whip around patent pending, trademark coming sooner, hopefully, rather than later. We'll go through the weekend and try and figure out how Atlanta United is going to get from Atlanta to Philly. Might be the day of. Don't know. But right now, tomorrow is when Helene, who was going to hit land, they're saying now as a Cat 3 and not a Cat 4. Thursday night is when Helene is going to make landfall. So that means that Thursday overnight, Friday morning is when we are supposed to get pounded here in the SDH footprint. If we got power, we'll do a show and get you ready for everything. But those are our burning questions. Bart's going to bat leadoff. If Beyond Goals Mentoring can be around, then we'll catch up with them at 9:30. If they've got power, and then we can whip around. And then if Jason has power, if he's dry, if the team isn't leaving, and I would imagine that the team might be leaving earlier than normal because of the travel issues. So tonight, tropical storm conditions possible, heavy rain early, remaining cloudy with a shower and thunderstorm or two overnight. Tomorrow, AM rain and wind. Saturday, mostly cloudy and a high of 75. So, and then we get into the 80s and the 60s. So this will take our the rest of our summer weather away as of the 21st. And so we will be looking at everything going on tomorrow. Like I said, if we got power, we're doing a show. That's the rundown for tomorrow. And thank you, by the way, Wiley. Thank you for reminding me it's the I-70 series, because I sure as hell couldn't remember it. Okay. Saying hi to everybody. We got news, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, and what to watch today before we get out of here. Morning, Alex. Morning, Pars. Morning, Michael. Morning, Bart. Let's see. Morning, Badger. Badger's in Madison, and hopes that we're all dry, powered, and healthy. Dry, no. Powered, yes. Healthy, hopefully so, from person to person. We had Mubarak Al-Qoraini come in this morning, and we said hello to Mubarak. Let's see. So, yeah, and Badger. I'm sure it cost Spokane a lot to fly there for the match on Saturday. No doubt about it. And so, morning, Tom. Morning, Michael. Morning 4 card, and I thought there was supposed to be a CONMEBOL CONCACAF Supercopa. I thought there was, but we'll create one. We win the lottery, we'll create one. Libertadores champ, Triple C champ, Sudamericana, and the League's Cup winner. That'd be tremendous, by the way. Have it at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. 80,000 each time out. Morning, David. David's like, I can only hope, as a fan of another Eastern Conference team, that Haslam starts treating the crew like his other properties, like the Browns, although he referred to them as the Clowns, and royally screws this up soon. And yet, David, I think that we have that he's a homegrown. Morning, Wiley, and that's so. Thanks to everybody who chimed in the Twitch pitch this morning, and thanks to everybody who's always a part of the Twitch pitch. Okay, gossip, rumor, and innuendo, what to watch, and then we'll get into the news of the morning and just kind of give you bullet points as to what to look at for the remainder of the day when it comes to news and matches and things like that. Okay, here's your gossip. Liverpool ready to move for Real Madrid's Rodrigo if Salah leaves Anfield at the end of the year. Everton's prospective new owners, the Friedkin Group, want to bring in Maurizio Sarri as their new manager. We'll ask Nick about that. Juve hoping to extend the contract of Dusan Vlahovic until 28 or 29. Although negotiations reported to be at a standstill, Vlahovic has been recently linked to Arsenal. Manchester United remain interested in Jared Branthwaite. We'll make another attempt to try to sign him. And he will be a cap defender in 25. Leverkusen's right back Jeremy Frimpong, high on Liverpool's list to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold if he leaves the club. Chelsea targeting RB Leipzig center back Castello Luqueba as they want to sign the best young players. Remember, their B-side won $400 million B team won in the Gummy Bear Cup the other day. Leverkusen's Victor Boniface is on Chelsea's shortlist for a new striker. Barcelona see Porto's Diego Costa as a long-term option for Marc-Andre ter Stegen. But when folks come out of retirement, you're going to sign them. And so that's what happened. A short retirement for keepers to go and be a part of the Barcelona project to help out after the Marc-Andre ter Stegen injury. You can sign players up to 80% since the window's closed, 80% of that value. And so you end up with a retirement fix for Barcelona. Wojciech Szczesny has made his way into the coffers for Barcelona. Stay safe this week. Going to quote Cowboy Gil, keep your pants and your powder dry. Yes, sir. No doubt about it. Manchester United want to free up space and could let Christian Eriksen and Casemiro leave in January. In 2020, Manchester United offered €100 million to Barca for Ansu Fati. And he's now 21. Spent last season on loan with Brighton. Brighton liked him. But I think the price tag was too high to keep him. Leverkusen, 17-year-old German midfielder Francis Onyeka being scouted by Chelsea. Hell, everybody's being scouted by Chelsea. Who are we kidding? Newcastle beaten Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund to secure the services of Dinamo Tbilisi's 17-year-old Georgian forward Vakhtang Salia. So keep an eye on that. Europa League is kicking off at 12:45. So keep an eye on all of that. Let's see. Arsenal beat Bolton yesterday 5-1. And apparently a giant stadium in Malaysia that hosted Chelsea and Spurs was being demolished. The video is now out at the Telegraph. Exclusive from our friends at the Telegraph, the top clubs are fearing bills running into the millions for the Premier League legal battles. Clubs are worried, and this is Sam Wallace, John Percy, Ben Rumsby. 3 authors in this one. Clubs worried multiple cases with eye-watering costs, including charges against Manchester City, will reduce their share of funding. Premier League clubs are concerned the legal bill for all the league's high-profile cases will run into multiple millions of pounds, reduce the club's share of central funds from the broadcast and commercial deals. 20 clubs meet today. Premier League Commission hearing over the city's charges. Ongoing an announcement imminent on a separate arbitration with the same club. Cases pursued on breaches of financial controls with Everton, Forest, and Leicester, including appeals. Recently published account of the appeal by the Premier League over its cost award in the Everton case for a breach of PSR caused concern among the clubs. In submissions to the commission, the club's general counsel, Celia Rooney, described as eye-watering some of the rates paid by the Premier League for its legal cost. Premier League regards the spending on fighting legal cases as fundamental, both to enforce rules and also to defend itself against legal challenges. Costs are paid out of the Central Premier League funds, which means all the clubs bear them equally. In the city case alone, which still has, and this is the tribunal that was supposed to be held in secret, not the arbitration that apparently is going to be discussed and revealed to the other clubs today at the meeting. The city case alone, Premier League has instructed two King's counsels, and thank you for letting me know what KC is, from Blackstone Chambers as well as Jason Pobjoy of the same chambers, who led the league's Everton costs appeal case. Premier League is up against a very well-resourced legal team on the club side, including City, who are led by Lord Panic, King's counsel. Arbitration, we said the arbitration case is set, and that's separate, and that was rules of governance and fair market value. So everyone is staring at the costs and getting to have to share the cost of the legal case against Manchester City, and probably the lower revenue teams are kind of freaking out about that. So yeah, Chesney signs in Barcelona after being retired for, I think, a full 9 weeks. So you've got you got all that going for you, which is nice. Checking the Guardian, we'll check the Times and see what else is going on. Yes. This is breaking news, so I've got to find the sounder and find it relatively quickly here. Branding, looping, and breaking news 1. Remember the bite we were talking about in the lower divisions in England? We have an advancement of that. Preston's Milutin Osmajic has been charged by the FA with biting Blackburn's Owen Beck. The Montenegrin international has until Monday to respond. He could face a lengthy ban after the incident. Preston North End striker Milutin Osmajic has been charged with biting, alleged to have bitten Owen Beck, sent off for kicking out at Dwayne Holmes in the same incident late in the game at Deepdale. Beck, who's on loan at Ewood from Liverpool, was dismissed for a swipe at Holmes after a foul on Osmajic, who then got to his feet, grabbed Beck, barging him away with his head pressed into the back. Blackburn manager John Eustace said after the match that Beck has got a big bite mark on the back of his neck. He's shown all the lads he's a bit quiet. He's a little bit shook up. Bad-tempered match also included Preston Sam Greenwood being sent off for a lunge at Lewis Baker. So the FA has now charged Milutin Osmajic from Preston North End for trying to take a chunk out of Owen Beck. Yeah, David, 3-year-olds down here. And the photo is there in the article where you see Osmajic. It's like, why are you biting? Seriously, why are you biting somebody? Legitimately, I have no idea. So yeah, Milutin Osmajic. I'll give you the article from. I'll give you the link to the article from our friends at the Guardian, and it's got the picture looking at Osmajic. It's the camera. The still camera is behind, looking at Osmajic, and literally it looks like he's trying to take a chunk out of his C3, out of Owen Beck's C3. That's the money photo. But then you're going to go to that photographer and sit there and go, okay, I need to see your entire sequence. And, he didn't bite him. He didn't make full contact. But then you have the eyewitness testimony that, yes, he did. And so you got all that. But Milutin Osmajic is facing a lengthy ban. He has until Monday to appeal what's going on with the incident involving Preston North End and Blackburn. This I thought was kind of intriguing by Rob Davies at The Guardian. Half of the Premier League clubs are breaking the code on gambling ads for children. Review of the gambling regulation find clubs advertising gambling on pages aimed at or featuring minors. Half of the Premier League football clubs have advertised gambling on web pages aimed at or featuring U18s, prompting concern about a voluntary code of conduct drawn up with the help of the betting industry. Premier League clubs, remembered, they volunteered to forego front-of-shirt betting logos from 2026, signed up to new rules for sponsorship, drafted in collaboration with the Betting and Gaming Council. Half of the clubs do not appear to be abiding by their own code as of Monday. At least 2 clubs displayed members of their U18 squad wearing shirts with betting logos on them despite being underage. Findings prompted concern from campaigners, including Clive Tildesley and Ian Duncan Smith, who's a conservative leader, about allowing clubs to set their own rules on gambling sponsorships. Brentford and Wolves included betting logos at the bottom of the kids' sections of their online merchandise shop. Everton's website, a page carrying news about the club's junior fans forum for children aged 11 to 17, linked to the company sponsor, stake.com, as it did their underage page. And so there's a big article from Rob Davies at The Guardian about all of the clubs and how you can click on things and you can see how you end up with betting and names of betting folks on jerseys in the U18s. We'll get into scores and let you know what's going on with Europa League and all the other stuff that's happening in just a little bit. One more stop. Let me get to the Independent. Let me see if there's anything from Miguel Delaney. Apparently Lopetegui hurt himself yesterday, and it was in the match. He was a little slow getting to the press conference because apparently he pulled a muscle or something, and it is a rough start for Lopetegui. 14th, needed an injury time equalizer to get a point against Fulham, and apparently Lopetegui pulled a muscle or something, so he was a little late getting to his press conference because he pulled a muscle, and so he's going to be going through all of the rehab that his players do. And rough day for the Hammers. Everyone at West Ham got hurt yesterday, no doubt. Luke Baker at the Independent, the man found guilty of racially abusing Vinicius Jr. was given a suspended prison sentence by a Spanish court. Real Madrid article. Real Madrid released an official statement revealing the unnamed male found guilty by a magistrate's court in Palma de Mallorca of directing racist insults at Vinicius Jr. at the match of Mallorca-Real Madrid back on February 5th, over a year and a half ago. It took a year and a half to get to this point. The accused was guilty of 2 crimes against moral integrity, aggravated by having acted with racist motives toward the Brazilian winger and also against then Villarreal player Samu Chukwueze, who suffered similar insults at the Mallorca Son Moix Stadium by the same person 2 weeks later. During Mallorca and Real Madrid, supporters could be heard in the video calling Vinicius Jr. a monkey. Statement confirmed the judge sentenced the man to 12 months in prison, jail sentence suspended on the condition that he apologizes and shows his remorse with a letter to Vinicius Jr. and participates in an equal treatment and anti-discrimination program. He's also been banned from football stadiums holding La Liga or RFEF matches, meaning the national team, for a period of 3 years. Real Madrid statement, quote, "This is the 3rd criminal conviction handed down in recent months for racist insults received by Real Madrid players. Real Madrid will keep working to protect the club's values and eradicate any racist behavior in the world of football and sport," end quote. A minor who racially insulted Real midfielder Aurelien Tchouameni in April of this year threw water bottles at him has also apologized and shown repentance. The youth has been banned from stadiums for a year, will take part in educational activities proposed by the prosecutor's office, paying a fine of €7,001, 4,000 for the insults, 3,001 for throwing objects. Okay, for the kid, all right, fine. For the adult, suspended sentence, 3 years away. It ain't long enough. He needs to be banned for life and for doing this kind of stuff because you never know who you're going to be around. You never know who you're going to influence. And the best influence you can have is being outside the building, yelling at the top of your lungs where no one can hear you or see you except for security cameras. Needs to be a lifetime ban. I'm sorry. I have zero patience for stupidity down here. This qualifies. Also for the legal system for doing a year and a half to get to this point of this case. A year and a half. It took a year and a half to get here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Apparently not much. Banned from La Liga and RFEF national team matches for 3 years. Whoopee-doo. That'll learn him. And the point that we always make in these situations, 4Card says the best influence is no influence. What always gets me in this case is that you think that the legal system is going to, the legal system is going to behave here. You're going to go and, I mean, there are times when you run out of words, but it's the same words over and over again. And I know that there are times when we do deal with a lot of stupidity down here where it's like, why do we say what we say? Why don't we? Because no one's going to listen. You never know that. The biggest thing in stupidity down here is to continue to shine the sunlight as best we can on this kind of stupidity so everyone knows what's going on. It rubs off, and we continue to go with our best feet forward to try to stop stupidity down here. I guess we reset the clock now. And, to reset the clock having to do with the Vinicius Jr. case, I mean, a year and a half. A year and a half. And this individual, I'm fairly certain, has, continued to go to matches, continued to sit in the stands, whether it's national team stuff or if it's home team stuff for the gentleman's beloved Mallorca. Who has he been rubbing off on in the year and a half since the incident with Vinicius Jr.? And yeah, oh, by the way, you need to apologize. Apologize. Write a nice letter. Here, write a letter. 2 crimes against moral integrity. Jail sentence suspended on the condition he apologizes, shows his remorse in a letter to Vinicius Jr. I'm sorry. I'm writing a letter. I'm sorry, Vinicius Jr., for all the harm that I've caused. How much good has that done in the past? I don't know. For me, I'd probably read it and then set it on fire in the driveway. Probably be a better show. Equal treatment and anti-discrimination program. I hope that works for this individual. I hope that what's going on with the young fan works just as well. I hope you learn the lessons going forward. I think the younger fan probably has a bigger window to do that than the older gentleman. 2 crimes against moral integrity aggravated with having acted with racist motives. Took you a year and a half to decide that. I mean, legitimately, there probably should be just a different kind of a sport court, maybe. I mean, literally, it's just a thought. I admit that I'm partial to the legal system having wheels that don't grind, especially with stuff like this that is apparently a slam dunk. You would think that the legal system is a slam dunk in this case. 4 card, the apology needs to be in person, face-to-face, and replayed all over. I agree. Needs to be in person. I mean, fine. You bring the security team from Real Madrid. You have them around, literally, and do it out in front of the Bernabeu. I mean, literally. That you go in front of the Bernabeu, not in Mallorca. No, it's not a home game apology. No, you've got to go to him. You've got to go to Vinicius Jr. In front of that stadium. You're not wearing any of your Mallorca gear. David, I love that. 1 free slap. Maybe Vinicius Jr. gets a free dressing down. If he doesn't want to do the free slap, he just gets to yell at him and do a rant about how stupid he is, the individual. Vinicius Jr. gets 1 dressing down in whatever form he wishes. How about that? Vinicius Jr., the guy's supposed to apologize in a written letter. Nope, got to be in person. I agree. It has to be in person on the grounds at the Bernabeu. Yes, you can have security forces there and do whatever you need to do. Have a circle around both of the guys, and it's almost like an Oklahoma drill. You do Oklahoma drill apologies. Guy walks up, says his apology. Player he's apologizing to gets a free repercussion, gets a free shot. So it's like an Oklahoma drill apology. That's what we're creating here today. Once again, we're fixing things here at SDH. You get to do your apology in an Oklahoma drill setup, security or whatever's behind everybody. You've got a circle. Dude comes forward with his apology, And he doesn't read what's on the paper, because then you're just, your head's down and you're just looking at it. No, eye contact, face to face. I want eye contact, because then that way you can see how sincere the individual is. It is Solutions Thursday, 4-card. Damn it, you're right. Dude goes to, he can't do it at Mallorca. He's got to go to the Bernabeu. Vinicius Jr. comes out of the Bernabeu. Oklahoma drill. There's a group of folks around. The apology cannot be read. It has to be in person, face to face. Speak your mind. Vinicius Jr. gets a free shot to speak his own mind. When Vinicius Jr. gets his opportunity, everyone in the Oklahoma drill turns around. So it's just Vinicius and the dude. Vinicius gets to do what he wants. Does he want to dress him down? Does he want to F-bomb him? Sure. Does he want a free shot? Turn the security cameras off, maybe? But no, I think at the very least, everybody in the Oklahoma drill turns around. Vinicius Jr. gets to yell at him and say whatever he wants to say. All of it off the record. But 2 counts, a year and a half to get to this point, and it's an apology in classes. I want to know who this guy's rubbed off against in this year and a half. Who else at Mallorca, when this guy has gone to home games, what else has he said, and to whom has he said it? And it's situations like this where it reminds me of high school. You get in trouble in high school and you go to the principal's office. Principal tells you, and your parents are forced to come, and you're all sitting in the principal's office. Principal says, you did this, and this. And you sit there and you tuck your head, and your parents are there, and you're going to sit there and say, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And then what's the first thing you do once the punishment has been administered? You're in detention for like a month after school. The teacher loves that in the first place. Whatever teacher is stuck with detention duty, they love being in that room for a month. Yeah, it's your turn. What's the first thing that the kid does who gets in trouble, has the meeting with the principal, and the parents are there? First chance you get when you're back out and you're having lunch with your buddies, what do you do? And you're giggling your ass off. Yeah, I met with the principal. Yeah. The principal said, yeah, I got to do this. And I said it. I wrote a letter. I wrote on the chalkboard 100 times, like Bart Simpson. No, that's the first thing that happens, literally. You go back to your buddies at the lunch table and you're giggling your ass off. Yeah, I got to meet with the principal. I had to sit there. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. Guarantee you that that's what this guy is saying. Yeah, I've got to write a letter. I'm going to go to class. Yeah, I'm going to go to it, or I'm not. He went back to his buddies. He went back to his ultra buddies, and they're like, well, what did they do? What did they say? Yeah, well, I did this, and yeah, I'm supposed to do this, and this. Yeah, I'll do it, but it won't affect me. I'm not going to change. I'm always going to be Mallorca through and through. Yeah, right. You went back to your buddies at the lunch table, and you're sitting there, and you're talking about, yeah. There's no way. I think it will help the younger fan more. But the guy who is charged going and saying what he said about Vinicius Jr., a year and a half later, getting charged, you got to go to class, you got to write an apology. I'm not optimistic. I wish I was more optimistic. But I don't think this impacts him. I think he goes back to the lunch table every day after class, and he's like, I hope he has to pay court costs. I hope he has to pay everything associated with it, and make it for the full 18 months. Don't just the appearance day in court where you got to pay like $50 in court fees and it's like $340. No. All the investigating, I would want this court to sit there and think of every line item that they had to do to research this case. All the man hours, mark them down. But I do not see after class and writing a letter that it's going to make a difference for this guy. And the fact that he's banned for 3 years, how are you going to track that? He could go Bobby Valentine, Mets manager, wearing a mustache and glasses. Unless you use that facial technology that James Dolan has at Madison Square Garden, how are you going to sit there and make sure that this dude doesn't go to matches? Seriously, how are you going to? You're gonna put his picture at every gate at the stadiums in Mallorca and everywhere in La Liga and every place in the state in the country and for international matches. Here's the guy. If he walks up, don't let him in. It'd be like Days of Our Lives. That's not Drake Ramore. That's Hans Ramore, Drake's evil twin. I don't see this working. I really don't. He's going back to the lunch table the second he's out of class. And they're gonna giggle and they're gonna laugh about it, and nothing's gonna change. 3 years is not enough. But the Oklahoma drill apology, I think Fourcard, I think we're onto something. David, I think we're onto something. Yeah, the famous streaker. And Morgana the kissing bandit. Famous streaker still got it everywhere for decades. Absolutely. The streaker did, Morgana did. And what happened? Morgana and the streaker, they made it on damn television. Hey, and there's Morgana, the kissing bandit. She's going after, Headline in the Independent, Pep believes that the Gummy Bear Cup is a waste of energy. He's right. The vote to amend from Jamie Gardner at the Independent. Remember the market value thing we were talking about? The vote to amend those rules was withdrawn ahead of the meeting. The sources said that the vote related to a small change to the league's data bank. Withdrawn ahead of the club's meeting today. Sources insist the change would have only been a minor one. Reports on Thursday linked the decision to pull a vote connected to the data bank, a tool used by the league's board to assess fair market value in commercial deals, to Manchester City's legal challenges to the APT. Reports said it indicated a potential victory for the club in the case. However, PA News Agency understands the change would not have been a substantive one, even if it had been voted through. Sources close to the meeting describing it as minor. So that rule that we all were talking about, they pulled it off the table even before they went into vote on it. So you got that. Yay. All right. Gossip rumor, and what you got to do, what to watch, where to watch it. Good Lord, John. All right. Now that we've vented our spleens, see the better part of the Janet Jackson Super Bowl wardrobe malfunction. Soccer on TV. We got Europa League today, I think, plus soccer, weather permitting. Like I said, soccer on TV. College soccer today. Men, it's all over the place. It's on Flow. You got a lot of stuff out west starting at 7 o'clock. Women's, this is a women's sport day. Women's soccer. Holy ish. There's a lot of women's soccer. It is a women's soccer day, and it starts literally at noon on the Plus. On Flow, it is Ohio Valley. It is the AUC, the one that's attached to all the random schools in Division I, Division II that are playing. That division is there. You've got Fun Belt. You've got Colonial. You've got Ohio Valley. You've got Atlantic 10. You've got Maction. You've got Big East. You have SEC, apparently, South Carolina and Georgia in Athens at 6 o'clock on the U. Don't buy it. Keep an eye out on your favorite social media for your favorite teams in the SEC. It is SoCon. It is Big East. And like I said, I'm now in the evening time. So South Florida, so you're looking American, non-region. You're looking Conference USA. You're looking ACC on the ACC network. Duke and Clemson, that probably might get played. So it's ACC Extra, ESPN Plus, SEC Network, Flow, ACC, Vandy and Auburn tonight, allegedly at 7:30. Good luck on that. So ESPN Plus, Big Ten Network's got stuff, and Big Ten Network Plus. That's the colleges. It is a women's college soccer day on all of your favorite networks. Now, BN, man, we've almost gone into a third hour. BN, Copa Libertadores, Peñarol Flamingos at 6. Copa Sudamericana, Racing Club Atlético Paranaense at 8:30. That's on BN en Español simulcast. If you don't have it, get Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Helps out everybody. Europa League, Malmo and Rangers at 12:45 on CBS Sports Network. Roma and Athletic Club at 3. Deportes, ESPN Deportes, simulcasting the Liga at 1 and 3. Fox Deportes, Liga MX Femenil at 11 o'clock, Tigres Cruz Azul. Paramount Plus has Europa League. They have 2 at 12:45 and 7 at 3 o'clock. Let's check juice boxes on that before we get out of here. Good Lord. Later today on the network, you will have the you'll have the USL programming, USL Championship, USL League One, MLS Next Pro, because we're trying to beat the power outage. So odds portal with all of the activity in Europa League and everything there. So let me see. Do we do it by Europe? How do we do this? Europe, Champions League, Europa League. All right. So Europa League has 9 matches today, 2 at 12:45, the rest at 3 o'clock. Fenerbahce favored at home against Real Union. Malmo on the plus side favored at home against Rangers. Those are your 12:45s. Ajax on the plus side, a plus 102 favored against Besiktas. Roma at a plus 123 favored against Athletic Bilbao. Braga on the minus side big as Maccabi Tel Aviv comes to town at a plus 500. Eintracht Frankfurt a minus 286 hosting Victoria Pilsen. FCSB hosting RFS at a minus 145. Lyon minus 108 against Olympiacos Piraeus at a plus 290. Spurs hosting Karabag at a minus 625. That's at 3 o'clock, 8 o'clock local time, or 9 o'clock local time, whatever it is. So there's plenty that is in Europa League today. Conference League doesn't start until October 2 and 3. So they're kind of staggering out all the different competitions and seeing how it all lays out. So that's the day. Whew. And we vented our spleens and did all that stuff. Rufus just moved from Sweden to New York City. Rufus, glad you're here. Traditionally, we're not here this late, but we had a lot of we had guests today, and we had a lot of news to get into after the guests were over. So we vented our spleens a little bit when it came to stupidity down here. So Rufus, welcome. Glad you're here. We're here on Twitch, on the YouTubes, and on the 280 character app. 9:05 Eastern time until 11 whenever, and today's an 11 whenever because it's 10 minutes till noon. We went for a while today, and I'm sorry if we went longer than everybody would have anticipated, but we had a lot of good guests. Niko Moreno joining us from Pulso Sports and the Soccer Bar. Nino Torres joining us from Gold TV. That was the power hour that got us to 10, that got us to 11 o'clock. We had news early. We talked about all the matches that happened last night. And we're getting you ready for everything else. The news of the day, get you ready for tomorrow. But Rufus, thanks for dropping by. First time. Glad you're here. Don't be a stranger. But we're here. Traditionally, we're here a lot earlier in the day. I'm going to stop talking because we're going to be here in a little less than 22. Power permitting. Once again, remember, power permitting because of Helene. Tomorrow, 9:05, Bart Keeler joining us and leading off. If our friends from Beyond Goals Mentoring have power, we'll catch up with them. 10 o'clock hour, we'll find out how Atlanta United and Jason and Mike are leaving to get to Philly. We'll go over the games in Major League Soccer. We'll get you ready for the weekend as well across the board. Atlanta United 2, MLS Next Pro, Sunday afternoon at 3 here on the network. So that's how busy we freaking are around here. 5 to 8 inches here in the footprint involving Atlanta and Helene as she goes north. The Appalachians, they're going to get pounded, 8 to 12 inches apparently, how it looks. But, yeah, we are right in the crosshairs of Helene as she makes landfall later today and tonight. So thanks to all y'all for putting up with all of the stuff, as we always do. We'll be back at it again 9:05 tomorrow, going at it, getting you ready for the weekend. And on the college football side, don't forget to listen to the review. Wilkie and I go over everything, and we check out all that's going on. Our guest running the anchor leg this week, Bobby Lamb, the head coach at Anderson University, as they're in their first season of play. Not their first season as a program, but first season of play. Bobby Lamb built that program from scratch, and that was a fun interview. And we also catch up with their SID in a separate single coverage interview, Michael Sanders, to find out what it's like on the administration side to do something from the ground up. So that's at the OSG sports side of things, and you can catch that on YouTube as well. So I'm going to quit talking so everybody can go on with the rest of the day. Stay dry, stay safe, stay as dry as you can, stay as safe as you can, hunker down, and we'll be back at it hopefully again, power permitting, tomorrow, a little less than 22. I'm going to take a break, get some caffeine, see what's in storage, and see what's going on. But thanks again, once again, for dropping by. Back at it again tomorrow. I'm going to whistle us out so we can all go get some lunch.